Yeah, indeed. 2, 1.
I grabbed chips and I grabbed a cookie with chocolate. That's a good snack.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our treasure home. Today, now it says I'm live, but I haven't seen it on my phone yet. All right, am I live? It says we're live. All right, there we
Yeah,
go. So
yeah.
there we go. I was making sure. So I'm Nancy, and Anastasia's off with her mom and dad having a great old time this week. They took family vacation time to spend time with her for her birthday. But today we have special guests. We have Rebekah, touched by yarn, and Dez, touched by peaceful Dez, touched by Dez too. You know, we're all touching each other some way or form, whether through YouTube and through mail and everything, and just helping each other. So today's special, we're going to teach Dez how to use an Instant Pot. And I have the Ninja. So we're going to do both the Instant Pot and the Ninja and go over it. This is something for everybody's asked, and I know it's come to me, how do you use it? What do you use? Can you do this? Can you do that with it? And when you look for it, there's really nothing I can find. The same way with the Ninja. They just, do this and, put it here, there, push this button, but nothing from step 1 and let's go. So that's what we are doing today. And we're going to start with Rebekah because Rebekah has an Instant Pot.
I have an Instapot. I took out my pot thing. Mainly this one that is a floured one I use for hard boiling my eggs. The thing that I ended up learning about hard boiling eggs, I'm going to take this one out. When I first got this one that holds 9 eggs, when I put that thing in my pot, it doesn't go all the way to the sides. Sometimes eggs will fall down in here and they will split. And I'm trying to make nice eggs. So one time I was at, I think it was Walmart, they had this one, which has handles that you can pull the eggs out. Take a look at this. What it ends up doing is it goes all the way to the edge.
Oh, I need that.
Yeah, it goes all the way to the edge so you don't have eggs falling over to the side that they crack. And what I end up doing is I set this one on top of that one. So I do 18 eggs. The thing that I learned was they say to do it for 5 minutes and then let it cool down for 5 minutes. I do not like my egg yolks green. So I started decreasing it slowly and I went down to 3 minutes of cooking my eggs and letting it cool down, and that didn't happen anymore. So I did decrease from what they said down to 3 minutes. That's how I hard boil my eggs now. And I stopped having the ones that were splitting and things like that. Always, always, always make sure you put your eggs in a cup and make sure they're not floating, that they're dropping all the way down. That tells you that they're fresh enough that they're going to not be bad. When they're floating, they're not good. So make sure you do that before you put them in. Always cool water and just drop them in a measuring
Yeah,
cup or whatever.
drop it in. But what do you put? What do you put the? How do you cook it now? Now that you've got the water and
Well,
the
once
eggs
you take
there.
it out of that cup, then you put it into the Instapot, and then I add water, and I also put vinegar. I don't know how much vinegar I put in. I just put some vinegar in there.
Oh, I didn't know you did that too.
Yes, it's basically I'm testing what you're pulling out of your refrigerator to make sure that egg is not bad.
But why
Because
the
if it's
vinegar?
the vinegar kind of helps separate from that membrane on the egg a little better.
Oh, I've never done that when I boiled right in the pot, a regular pot.
Yeah, well, I've always done the vinegar even when I was doing boiling eggs in a pot.
Yeah, then you're gonna have to
Um,
tell us how much vinegar do you
I
put
just
in there.
splash I just splash some in there. I don't know
Okay,
how much.
now that you've got it in there with a splash of vinegar and water, do you cover it? Do you just cover it with the cover the eggs only, or do you have to put
No,
it to a certain
you
level?
cover the bottom.
Uh huh.
Let me see. the bottom of the pan up
Uh-huh.
into this section, because you're with the Instant Pot, you're steaming them instead of boiling them. They're getting steamed.
Yeah, see, this stuff you have to say, because you can
Yes.
say, I put it in a pot and I'm boiling, but I don't understand.
Well, in this,
okay,
you're
okay, DJ.
yeah. So you'll add water, up. Sometimes I get it a little too much, but I put it where it's up into here, because you need the when you put it on the egg thing, you got to have some water in there.
Does my thing have an egg thing?
Well, sometimes they have the wire racks that you can also
I'm
use
sorry,
that come in your Instant Pot.
Egg button. Egg button is what I was looking for.
Yes, egg button.
There is no egg button.
On yours, there isn't. On another Instant Pot that I have does
Then
have
what do you
egg.
put it on?
It's you push egg and then I decrease the
This
time.
does not have egg on it, so what do you push?
All right. What buttons do you have? What buttons do you have on yours, Dez?
Mine says soup broth, meat stew, bean chili, poultry, rice, multigrain, porridge, steam, slow cooker, saute, pressure level, delay start, keep warm, cancel, yogurt, and pressure cook.
Okay, so she
doesn't have egg either.
She doesn't have the same one that I have that has for egg, pressing for egg.
Right. So
Is
is she
it different?
pressure cook or steam?
I would think steam. I'm wondering if
I'll go back to the pot and boil my egg.
I would think that since Dez does not have the book to this one, like I don't, is when we get done with this, I'm going to have Ronald bring up the thing, since yours does not have egg, my other one does. I would think that it would be steam, and that's usually for vegetables. I'm wondering if this one, if doing it under steam would be the best one. I just don't know.
Stacey says it sounds like pressure cooking if you're doing it for 3 minutes. So yes.
The pressure level would probably be low on yours, because there's a button that it says low and high. I definitely would not do high, but doing it on low pressure.
I know how long I cook my eggs in a pot.
Yeah. Well, having this one, it makes it a lot quicker, because on my other Instant Pot, I do have an egg button.
Stacey's got an Instant Pot book. Mine did not come with a book at all.
This one didn't either. It came from somebody that I bought it used.
I got this at Big Lots. No. I returned the one at Big Lots and got this at Walmart. I've used my Instant Pot once in the 3 years that I've had it. 2 or 3 years that I've had it.
The other thing that I use my Instant Pots for is steaming rice. I started first just putting the rice in there, not rinsing it. The thing that my brother talked about was that he was choking a lot, and I didn't know why. And there was this other time that I was watching this video of a Asian guy rinsing his rice 3 times and then putting it in the Instant Pot and letting it soak in that water for an hour and then cooking it. I took it a little bit further. What I end up doing is, if we're going to have rice the next morning, I will put it in my pot. I'll rinse it. I use a colander that is a screen mesh one so that the rice doesn't fall through. I rinse it 3 times, and then I put it in the pot overnight and let it soak. I take it back out, rinse it, put it back in, and then add the water. It says to add, with your cup, if you're doing 3 cups, a 3/4 of a cup 3 times, then you do 3. I do not do that. I do 4. And then cook my rice, the regular, just on the rice. That's how I end up doing my rice now. And my brother doesn't choke and cough anymore since I started doing that.
That's awesome. I like that. I like that it's circular. Now my son does rinse his rice before he cooks it. So, and then I just looked up on Instapot. They said pressure cook the eggs for 5 minutes. So with Dez, I would be pressure cooking her eggs, and you would just, like Rebekah says, adjust your time. Start off with 5 minutes. If it's not the way you want it, then you can lower the minutes each time. I wouldn't go no lower than 3 minutes, especially for hard-boiled eggs.
Well, I usually boil my eggs for 15 minutes. So.
Yeah, so pressure cook, and didn't say on high or low. So that's something I would just I would start do it high first. Do you have a where it says high, medium, and low, or it's just at high and low?
Low and high.
Low and high. Well, 3 minutes pressure cook high, and then see how that comes out. And if it's not like you like it, then do the 3 to 5 minutes on low, and then you can adjust that time. So then with let's see. Yeah, I would just does with pressure cook. Steam is like when you steam vegetables.
Yeah, I'm gonna need. I think I have. What do I have a bottom down there? Yeah, I have a little metal rack, but I don't think the kind you would use. It's like I don't know. It's weird. It's got the little handles, but it's like you can't put anything big on it. It's more for like a little roast or something to pull out, so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. So I'd probably have to get something. Can you use that little metal thing that hold on, that you use in regular pots for steaming?
I don't know what this is for.
That's to hold a chicken or a small turkey or a Cornish hen type thing.
I was like, what? I did not know what this was for.
Yeah, I've got this. This is what came with mine. So mine's a little.
Oh. Now this one is where you can sit this up a little bit further. I have one that sits flat, and then this one sits up a little bit further. So if you probably sit this.
I don't have all the stuff that goes inside. This is it.
Wow.
That's all they gave you with that pot.
What I got in this one was these two pieces.
Yeah.
And in my other one that I purchased, it had this. It had a flatter one, and it had one of these. So I have two of these and 2 of these. I just didn't know what this one was for.
Yeah, if you want to put it like a small chicken roast, all the drippings come off, and then it's not sitting into the fat.
So would this be if you're doing like a roast or something like that?
That guessing. Would be like a small roast. Anything you don't want it to sit
in the water,
bottom, or vegetables. Say like you got asparagus or broccoli or cauliflower, something big. You just don't want it to sit down on the bottom. You want it to steam. Mm-hmm. That's what you can use it for. The same thing with the little insert that you have, Dez. I have. Now this came with my Ninja, so mine's like this, but it also can be. I can flip it around this way.
Yeah, I can't do that with mine. It collapses onto itself and folds.
Right.
So I keep doing that.
So what I like about this, I can sit this right in, just like yours, and pull it right out. That way,
I like that because it's got bigger feet than mine does too. Like it's like they kind of laxed on the cheaper of the Instapot. They laxed on everything. It's like if you want all the Kudamans or whatever you want to call it, then you need to pay the buku money to get all the pieces and the book. Look, I go with my budget.
No.
My budget was $79.
Go to TMU because you can find things there that
That's where I'm looking next because
exactly. So, does your says air fryer on there?
mine does not.
Okay, so mine does. So there's a difference with that. Um, so you can pressure cook, steam. Is there a slow cook button?
Yes.
Hold on. Let's see. Yes, it's a slow cook.
Slow cook.
There's
So you can use that just as use that as same like your regular slow cooker or crock pot.
Yeah, well, this has got also. Yeah, it's got. Yeah, that I thought. For that, which is fine because I have a crock pot too. So, hi, Linda. Hey, John.
I have only one time used the saute, and because of how narrow it is, it to me I just saute in my skillet on my stove
I don't know
instead
how
of
to.
instead of well in this you would be able to, if you had like a small TV tray, you would be able to sit there and saute your stuff inside this,
Yeah.
of your instant pot.
Okay, now
Being
this thing's
able
got. This. Sorry, Rebecca.
it's
This
okay.
thing's got pressure level, delay start. What does that mean?
Well, if you're at work and you are able to set a timer on this, that it will start cooking if you say delay this how many hours, and it will start cooking like 4 hours before you come home.
Okay.
It's
And
like
pressure level.
what?
And what's pressure level?
Pressure level would be where you would go from low to high. It would just change that.
And why? What's the pressure for?
Well, it in your book, it will tell you that you need to set this at pressure
Dude,
high. I
I
know.
told you I don't have a book.
Yeah.
It did not come with a book.
Ronald went on go to instapot.com, and there is a thing that you put the numbers in, and your book will be downloaded on a PDF, and you'll be able to go there, see recipes, see all that stuff. So whenever my other pressure cooker I had, my other instant pot, I do have a book with it. It did have, because it was new, someone hadn't used it. These people that I bought this one from didn't have the book with it. So my brother went online and was able to download that book. If you want to buy it, they charge you. Or you just have it on there, you go to that folder and you're able to see how to work your instant pot.
So my understanding about the pressure is I think it would be like when you do on slow cook. So if it tells you you have all right, it's like you're doing pot roast and you want to cook it for high pressure would be like on high because you cook it faster and that'd be like less than 4 hours, or pressure is low and you want to let it cook all day long. So like they're cooking in a crock pot. They're actually cooking a roast with carrots and potatoes. They set it on high. Now this one has a timer, but they didn't put it on timer, so they're gonna let it cook all day. So the son put in the crock pot about 10 o'clock this morning, but he seared the roast first. So on your sear saute, you can hit that button, sear your meat, whether it's chicken or beef or whatever meat you're doing. Sear it on both sides because that helps keep the juices in the meat. Then you cook your meat. Whether you're going to cook it on pressure, if you cook it in a slow cooker side, or if some people steam it. So I've never seen my meat before.
Me neither.
That sounded funny.
I want to make sure that meat is totally cooked. That when I put my thermometer in, some people don't have thermometers. The thing that someone taught me is touching your fingers will tell you. There's someone that taught me that
I'm all.
of the hard parts, and you feel across there saying this is soft, is rare, they're able to tell by touching that meat that it's a medium well. That's how I like my steaks, is medium well. It's all these things that people have learned of how to feel that meat when you don't have a temperature thermometer to be able to test. And I don't ever use digital because batteries wane down. Mine is one that you adjust. My thermometer is, where you get it to where it's zero, where that's frozen.
Okay.
So when it gets to 165, I know that's done.
All right.
For chicken.
I'll
So
have to buy a meat thermometer because I don't own one of those either.
I just go by time. I just
Yeah.
we've had so many of them, and then they stop working after so many. I'm like, forget it. I know how. All right, when I am cooking, so say if I use the I guess sear saute, because I can sit there and cook on that also. Even on the well, the baker roast, you got to put the top down.
When you saute, you don't have to, or sear or whatever, you don't have to put the lid on because you're basically stirring and cooking. Instead of using it in a frying pan, you're using it in that.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So the sear saute, to me, it's like if you're cooking in a pan, pot, skillet on the stove. They tell you to cook one side for 5 minutes and then flip it over on the other side for 5 minutes, and that depends on how thick your steak or your chicken is or anything like that. So that's what I use for that sear saute. If I just want to cook it and I don't feel like steaming it or pressure cooking, and I still go by the same amount as if I was doing it on the stove. So that's your sear saute. And you can do meats on that, vegetables, and everything. Now, mine, it's supposed to be made where you don't have to put any kind of oil or anything. I still cook with olive oil in mine.
Yeah, I've got olive oil, so
that's just easier for me on that.
Yeah, that's stainless steel.
Add drizzle a little oil down in there. It's just that what I was doing that time that I was searing that meat was I was doing ground meat, and I just didn't like the way it was looking, so I ended up taking it out and putting it in my cast iron skillet. I just didn't like the way it was, so that's why if I'm making chili, I will saute it on the stove, and I have a gas stove. I don't have an electric, and then putting it back in. So that's usually how I end up doing things.
Right. All right. So because you still have a little bit different buttons than I do on your Instapot. So, all right. So we got pressure, sear, saute.
We've got a yogurt button on this one.
Yeah, can I remove the yogurt button and just have an egg instead?
I don't know.
Hey Nora, hi Mona.
Hi Nora.
Hi Nora.
I'm not a yogurt girl at all.
Oh, I've tried making yogurt in this, but I think because I have to use like almond milk, it doesn't turn out correctly.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your next feature?
Well, we have steam.
I'm guessing.
Steam, pressure.
The one I don't understand is the multi-grain. What is that for? Is that for if you're mixing two different kinds? Because with a rice, they're probably talking white rice.
Rice is white rice.
Rice would be for white rice. Okay. I also, when I do rice, I mix brown rice and white rice together. So I would probably have to put it on the multi-grain on this one.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Does yours have a rice feature, Dez?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, mine does rice, multi-grain. Multi-grain is probably like brown rice.
Probably.
That's
my rice cooker that I have, I think it's got a brown, like my aroma rice cooker, I think it's got a brown rice button and a white rice button. So I think the multi-grain is your brown rice.
Okay.
So what do you call porridge? Would that be like lentil soup?
That would be soup.
That would be soup. Okay.
I would think porridge. Porridge to me sounds more like oatmeal, cream of wheat. That kind of consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Or with Oliver Twist would say, more porridge, please. More, please.
Stace had a question right back. She was asking Rebekah, what do you do with that many eggs?
Besides us eating them, sometimes I like getting in the refrigerator and being able to just eat an egg in the morning.
An egg. Yeah.
Just having an egg for breakfast. And
oatmeal. Porridge, oatmeal.
I have never, the way I make oatmeal is very simple. And most people would say, oh, that's not the way to cook oatmeal. Well, it's the way I cook oatmeal. I use instant oatmeal. It is not, Ronald wants to come over. Instant oatmeal. It's a smaller grained oatmeal. And I put on the pot, our tea kettle, and I steam that, and I put a half a cup into a glass bowl. And then I put fruit, a fourth of a cup of fruit on it, and I pour that steaming hot water on it, and I cover it for 5 minutes. And that's how I make my oatmeal in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes like it's done. I don't know if it is, but I haven't gotten sick yet.
Dez and I were talking about, she had done, was it black beans or just beans?
Black beans from the bag.
From the bag.
So, Stace.
Nobody told me I'm supposed to soak the beans.
Yes. I soak them overnight.
Well, nobody told me that. And we took the whole bag and we threw it in there. And we put the water in there. And we let it pressure cook all day. And it wasn't cooked. We ran out of water. We put more water in there off and on to check because it was like so many hours. They say after so many hours or whatever. No.
Yes. Beans. There's two methods of doing beans where you do them at night where they're soaking overnight. And then they've got a quick soak, which is where you're boiling them in hot water. And then you cook them. But yeah, I always
I cooked it all day, Stacy, and they were not cooked.
They were not cooked.
No, they were like a 3/4. They still had like a quarter of the beans still was not cooked all the way, and we kept on putting more water in and everything else, and it was dry. It was like, oh, okay, here we go. Where's the garbage can? It was bad.
So let me tell you what happened with my black beans, because it's almost similar. I did soak mine overnight, and I put it in here under slow cook. And I cooked those suckers for almost 24 hours, and they would not get done. I mean, they, like you said, it was halfway done. I said, forget this. I turned it on pressure, and on this one, the pressure has to build, and it takes about 20 minutes for the pressure to build up. I put it on high, and I pressure cooked, put the timer for 10 minutes. Because I figured 10 minutes might be, so I should have done like 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. But I ended up pressure cooking them the rest of the way, and that's how they got done.
Well, this was pressure cooked all day, and it still wasn't cooked. So I'm like, that was the first and last time I used this Instapot, like 2.5, 3 years ago. It's been sitting in the cabinet ever since. I'm like, if I know somebody that wants an Instapot, they want to drive by my house and pick it up, you're welcome to have it, because I'll just stick with my rice cooker and my crock pot. It's like
some of the packages that I get with from our pantry, they have black beans mixed in with it. So it's not just black beans.
Oh, I'll get my cans of black beans. And I'll cook that way.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like my Goya black beans, so I'll get that and I'll make that with my black beans and rice with beef in the big pot on the stove. or if I feel like it, I'll cook it in a crock pot bag in my crock pot. Saute the meat first, the onion, garlic, and everything in it. But most times it's on the pot, and then whatever's left over, we have the next day. And I use the rice cooker for my rice. But my Instapot, oh my God, I have a love-hate relationship. I love to have it, love to try to use it, but I hate it at the same time.
I know. I would pick out something easy, like everything is easy with these things, but maybe try doing the beans again, and then do half a bag instead of a whole bag. Soak them overnight, and then rinse them off really good. And then now on my inside it says like 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups. Does that say that on your insert?
It has, let me show you here. Let me see if I can see if you can see this. But inside here, it says down here where my finger is, it says a half. And then at the top, it says PC Max is 2/3. So there is a, see that? Now we can see it.
Well, there you go.
That's all ours has on it.
It says half right here and 2/3 right here. There's nothing else.
There's nothing
That's
else.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know, because to me, since they're different, I guess I would fill it up halfway with water, and then because on my Ninja it has the little pressure knob thing that you have to close the pressure. All right, does it have a pressure knob? Did you close the pressure knob? Because that's the thing. When you close that knob, it keeps that pressure inside, so it keeps all that. So that's what it's called, pressure cooking. Because
all that was closed.
Okay, I don't know.
I told you.
Did the valve on yours when you did the pressure? Did the valve come up?
I don't know. My son went to look at it, and it was. I stayed away from it because if I got anywhere close to it, I'm gonna be one of those people that's gonna take it and throw it out the door and throw it in the middle of the road. So yeah, I'll lose the $80. I don't care.
Okay. So on the pressure cooker side, there is a knob. When it's closed,
I'm gonna go get my other one because it's different than this.
so when it's I gotta get my top. I don't have the top. When you close the top and you turn that knob, there's a little silver thing that goes up and down.
Yeah, I see that.
It will lock it down when it's pressure, and then it stays locked while it's cooking.
Okay.
So, and then when it's all finished and everything, that little thing, it will drop and you will hear that release. So you can turn the knob to be a quick release or let it release by itself.
Right.
Let me get the top. Get to it.
Yeah, I have that thing, that silver thing. It's down. So yeah, I have that.
Thank you for holding on to
This is a woman that's not been taught how to cook. Everything's out of boxes and jars.
Yeah,
But we're healthy, obviously, because we're, Oh, you've got you got the Pioneer Woman one.
Yes, I did. This is the one this is really nice. My sister bought this one and then I bought it from her. This one I do have the book on, and it has soup, broth, meat stew. It also has cake. I have not baked cake in this yet.
Oh.
And then it has egg. It has sauté. It has rice, multigrain, pottage, steam, slow cook. And then in the middle, it has adjust, manual, keep warm, cancel, and delay start. So this one is, this one's a little bit different. And you see how the valve is on this one? It can go either way, and then it has the pressure thing up here at the top. This is my first.
If it wasn't, I hate to say this, and God, you forgive me, but you ladies don't hate me, but I think Pioneer Women's stuff is ugly.
It's okay.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Everybody
See, this
I
to
know,
me
but I'm
is-
like, I like
wasn't
the
looking at that.
and all that. I just wish they sold like the plain version or like a red outside version, for my kitchen, not all the frilly, stupid flowers on it.
I'm
Don't worry,
I'm not looking at that. I am looking at the function of the thing.
Yeah, I'm looking at. I need to hide it and bury it in the ground.
That's all right. Everybody has their own taste.
I am so bad, but yeah, I like some of her stuff. I just don't like I would like it more simpler and not so busy. You know what I
Right.
mean? So yeah, I'm not a.
This is the only Pioneer Woman thing that I have.
I think I had a spoon rest of hers.
This
at
is
one
the
time,
thing that
and it broke.
this is the thing that I like about this one is that you can take that off and sit your lid right there.
Yeah.
I love that. With the other one, you have to find some place to sit it when you don't have a very big countertop.
Right.
Exactly. So when you're ready to cook something, let me know and I will go live and help walk you through it. Because I also not only I have StreamYard, I've got Restream. So if I use up my hours on StreamYard, we can hop on the Restream and do it that way also. So thank you, DJ, for showing us that and how it's free.
There you go.
Goodness. So, but I was like, yeah, because, like anything, a crock pot, easy peasy. Throw it in. If you want to cook done in 4 hours and because you're running late or whatever, it's done. Or if you want to cook it all day long, you put it on low and you go. It's like
I have my kids cook it. Like when I'm at the cottage for those 3 days and we want to use it, they're like at 10 or 11 in the morning. They're like putting everything in there and have it ready by like 5, 6, 6:30 at night.
Exactly.
So I'm happy. Yeah. I like that.
And then we have the new wave also, and then that was another gadget they came out with. It's like you set it and forget it type thing, and you cook in that. So that you really can only bake in it. That's the only thing I like or reheat in it and everything is. So we've done pork chops in it years ago, but I do my bread in there because I don't like pulling everything out of the oven. So I'll make my bread in that, or I use this instead. That's how I get it round. Because mine has a top. This top flips up. And my insert is round. So that's how I get the bread round. So this one, it does. It says it was in liters. That's why I get mixed up. 1 liter, 2 liters, 3, 4. And then max is pressure. It does have the cups on the other side. So it has liters and cups.
Yeah, this doesn't give you that option. And it only has the two 1/2 and 3/4 or 2/3 or whatever.
I have this insert and I also have another one. It's it's round, it's black, and it just sits in there. And that's like when you're cooking like hamburgers, if you're cooking steaks or whatever. But I also can use this to bake with, or if I want to cook my hamburgers. I've done the pressure side. I've tried all kinds of ways with it. And sometimes it's just playing around with it. So, because the Ninja has pressure, steam, slow cook, yogurt, and sear and saute on one side. And then on the other side, it has the Air Quest boil, bake, roast, and dehydrate. So I haven't used the dehydrating button because I haven't learned how to do it yet.
That's not on here, but that would have been kind of cool to dehydrate, and make some jerky and stuff.
Yes.
I have a plastic dehydrator that has the plastic leather things that I can do lots of different things with. But being that I have a small countertop, it makes it hard to be able to use that dehydrator.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
now with this one, the Air Crisp Boil, Bake, and Dehydrate is just this top with the air fryer side on it. Now with the pressure, steam, slow cook, it has the other top. So this being the deluxe, if I have the other top on it, this won't close all the way.
That's kind of interesting that her lid just pops up instead of us having to turn it.
So in this one, it goes on, it locks. But if I were to keep it on there, this doesn't shut all the way. So that's why I don't have it on there. But when
That's pretty cool though, that you can leave the big one open and use the other one for the other part of cooking.
It certainly is.
Yeah, so and this metal piece that's up here on the top, this sucker gets hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like burned myself a couple of times forgetting that it gets hot.
Woman, be careful.
So, I ain't the only burn I have. You should, burns here and burns there, and on my
yeah.
in the oven pulling stuff out. So, like I said, the pressure, the steam, the slow cook, the sear saute though, it won't let me. It doesn't let use this top. That's the interesting part about that.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
But I have used it to sit there and cook bacon in there, and that's what I use this rack for. To put the bacon on this so it doesn't, so the grease drippings and everything is not there, not sitting in that. So I've used.
Does it get crispy?
Huh?
Does it get crispy enough?
Oh yes. So, and that's on the bake side. So I am put this like this. Put my bacon here. Stick it in. Close it. Put it on bake. All right. So I turned it on.
Yeah, mine doesn't have the bake option, but that's pretty cool.
You
I like
can
that.
put it on bake, and then your temperature, and you can. It goes as low as 250 and as high as 400. And then you have your time, however, it goes down to a minute and all the way up to, see, this one goes up to 30 minutes more. There you go. As long as you need it to bake.
That's
and each
cool.
one is different. So
That is cool.
I do have to play around with the temperature and the time because everything is always different. And that's with the bread. I can put it on, I'll usually put 350, just like your normal would in the oven.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to adjust the time between 30 minutes and 20 minutes and 25 minutes. And I'm just like, okay, that's the bread, not me.
Right.
Then you would just hit start.
That's pretty cool.
Stop. And then end it. And then you can do whatever you need to do. And that part with this, like that, when you open it up, it stops it. So you can see what's in there, what it's doing and everything. And then when you close it, it starts back up. And then on the other side, like if you, if it's on pressure, it's not going to let you open it. It will lock it and seal it because that's the pressure cooking side. And then the steam, let's see if it'll do it. So it tells you to use the other lid because you're supposed to use the other lid. And then that also locks. Then that will lock. Slow cook. And then have it stop. And then slow cook is the same way. It'll tell you to use the other lid, but that doesn't lock. It lets you take it off to see if you want to add more spices or whatever. Like I said, the yogurt, forget it. I haven't even. I know that. I don't want to use the other lid. I want you to stop. Please stop. I'll stop. Then it tells you yogurt, and because we have to use the almond milk or soy milk or whatever, I'm still learning how to do that. And then you sear saute. You on high, medium, low, medium, and low, depending how fast you want it to cook. And then it doesn't have a time because what you're doing is this insert will heat up, and it's like you're cooking on a skillet. So, and that's what I like. I've had to play around with it because even if I go by the recipes that they say to do, it does. Those recipes and time and everything don't work for me for some reason.
Take care, Linda.
All right, see you, Linda.
I like it, but it's just like I'm also scared of it. I don't know. I was hoping for simplicity, but to me, it just seems like it's harder.
Oh, I know.
I have a folder on the computer where I put all the manuals.
Yeah.
And the first one that holds all the manuals inside of it is called All Owner Manuals. Then inside of it, I have additional folders that would be named for the given product name, like Instapot, Amana, Bose, and so on. So I'd create new folders and put them within that one. And then the manual goes inside that, which would probably be a PDF.
Mm-hmm.
That way I can find it after I put it on the computer.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, me, I'm just.
Yeah, you gotta keep things organized to where you can find them, because if you can't find them, it makes it.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you. You know that the steamer basket, the stainless steel, it's got the little, and it folds onto itself with all the things. Can you use that inside that pot?
I don't see why not. That's just like the silicone ones that they've come out with. Yeah. You should be able to use in your pot also, because that's why I got that blue one that's stuck put up in the cabinet. I haven't used it yet.
Yeah. I had one of those steamer baskets, that fold onto each other. So I was just wondering if that could be used in there, because it's a different product. I don't know how the metals are, metals are.
From what I understand on that silicone, it can go up to 500 degrees and not have a problem of being able to use that.
Yeah, that I don't have. Mine's a metal basket. I just got to make sure I got all the pieces, because I think one fell off somewhere, and it's in one of the drawers.
Exactly.
All of that thing. Other than that, I like using it for steaming. It's just, wasn't sure if I could use it in that as my basket for the vegetables.
You should, because it's metal. Just like this one is, because this one's metal. Even though it came with it, other people have manufacturers. To me, saw I guess the light bulb go off, and it's like, oh, well, we can make the insert for the Instapot and the Ninja, but half the fraction of price that they're selling it for, and y'all can still use it the same way. So that's what they, a lot of them did. So to me, it still should be able to be used in there.
Yeah, on the Ninja, how wide? What's the circumference of it? Because they may make a little bit different, that it may not be the same width as what the Instant Pots are.
Right.
You know,
I don't remember the inside circumference. I just know it's the Ninja Deluxe, um, which is the 8
I
quart.
thought my basket would fit in there because it's small, but then it opens up and it'll hit the sides, which doesn't matter if it's supposed to just sit and hold the vegetables anyway. So that's good to know about this, so I could use that in there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because this thing, I mean, they get really hot, and then it's like you want your food hot, but you don't want to reach in there and burn yourself either at the same time.
Right, exactly.
Because
Don't
I've
want
done
that.
that, and I was like, so I'm like, okay, what are some products that besides using your regular oven mitt and gloves to try to,
Hmm.
pull stuff out. I've done all kinds of. I've taken this wooden spoons and kind of like put it between the 2 slots and pull it up. So I was like, I don't want to eat, but I was like, I'm not reaching in there, and I had forgotten. You reach in there, just not thinking. It's like, oh, that's
Yeah,
that's
you touch the side like, yeah.
did you,
In there.
Des? Did you get the little ladle that comes with? You did not. Okay, I have
This
some
didn't
extra.
Now,
I
this
have
didn't
some
come with
extras.
everything. Yeah, this just came with that little basket that I showed you. That little, not even a basket. I mean, what you see is this is it.
Wow.
And
Because
then if you go to put it
yeah.
down, it won't fold. See, if you do it the other way, it does not stand or anything. So it's just like it's like it's got the little feet though. So the little feet are small, so it sits like this much off the bottom. That's it.
And that's like for your vegetables. If you had a piece of chicken you wanted to cook in there, and it not set in the grease and stuff like that.
But it just doesn't give you. I don't know. Like I said, I might just put it back in the cabinet, and if one of you all ever drive by this way, I'd be like, "Here, you want a gift?" It's all on me. Take it.
Hey Heather, how you doing?
Hi, Heather.
So
I do love my crock pot though, because Randy told me to put on my wish list, so in case anybody wanted to get me a crock pot. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. I'll put it on my wish list. And I also wanted one, so if nobody got it, which I wasn't expecting anybody to get to me, I'd have the one that I want on my list.
right.
And next thing you know, I get one delivered to me. Him and Shannon, Shannon had bought me one, and I'm like, are you kidding me? So that's been like my best friend, because my other one, the crock pot, I had for like 20 years, and it cracked on the bottom inside. So I was using bags to keep it so the liquid wouldn't go through into it. So I was using my bags. But it was the best thing I've ever gotten. Was my crock pots. I love them. I use them all the time. Or a slow cooker, I should say. But it's just like a crock pot. It's got the 4, 6, 8, 10 hours. So I can do it that way. It just doesn't have low, medium, and high, like a regular crock pot does or whatever. So I love my my slow cooker, crock pot, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, to me it's the same thing. Now, like today, they're gonna have rice, which I can't have. So I've got chicken that's still frozen that I didn't put out last night to thaw. And Rebekah was asking me the other day, could we cook something from frozen to
I have that too.
cook in here?
Yeah.
My understanding, we should be able to, because that's just be like if you did it in the crowd. Now I know in the new wave they used to show that infomercial from frozen to cook and all that other stuff, and I've done that in the new wave. I haven't done it in the Ninja yet, but I figured that I guess I could try it we want to try and see.
I think we should. You know.
Yeah, we get to try it out and see how it works. from hot frozen to whatever. I want to do is like a stir fry in there.
All right.
Because I've got some chicken breast in my individually packed in the freezer that I'd like to see if I can put it in here and do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now these are frozen solid. It's supposed to be. I think they're two pieces. So what we're gonna do now.
Take everything out of it.
Yeah, I'm not going
I'm going to surprise Des with something later. I've got it sitting here.
Yeah, there's two pieces. Now you have to add water when you pressure. So I'm going to put enough water in here to cover the chicken.
Okay.
Because they're frozen.
In fact, that new wave you have, Nancy, I have one that was more shallow, and then I was able to find a second one that has that second band.
Oh wow!
I now have two.
Hey,
Rita.
I'm gonna tell you. Hold on.
Hi, Rita.
Hey, Rita.
She's trying to teach this old lady new tricks on how to use an Instapot.
She's using a Ninja. We have instant pot, so she's going to cook a chicken that's frozen, or chicken breast, or whatever it is.
Yeah, chicken breast.
All right.
Chicken breasts that are frozen.
So that's locked.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it on pressure. I'm gonna put it on high,
Okay.
and then my time. I will say, let's do 20 minutes and we'll see how that works. And then that builds the pressure up. You got to make sure your button's closed. And the little.
How long does it take for the pressure to build up, you said?
I don't know. It depends sometimes. Sometimes it says 20 minutes. Sometimes it's like within a few
So by
minutes.
the time it builds pressure, it'll be done to check.
So we're going to see how well this goes. We're going to time the pressure to how much it builds up. Because I've sat here and I'm waiting for the pressure to build and it's steaming and it's already done. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. My friend that moved to Georgia, that was supposed to move here, that stayed with us for like a month. She sent me a package for my birthday. She did a video chat. She goes, "Open it." I was like, "I'm saving it for my lad to open on my birthday." No, open it.
While we're waiting for that chicken to cook, Linda sent me an email saying that she was using the next size smaller loom, and she was definitely seeing the size difference that it was, and then that biggest one that comes with it and stuff. But yeah, Carrie just got hers delivered to her door.
Right.
And you know what I'm thinking is with that, the looms that they're making now is instead of doing 25, because when I first started making those hats, I used that, you have the biggest loom and then you have the next one down. The lady taught me is to do either a 14 or 16 band and then 25 rows. You could end up adding more rows to making that hat longer, because when I did it with the looms that you guys have now, it always sat here on my ears and didn't come down. Like the purple one that I have that has 48 pegs.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff. And I wish they made more of those ones that are wider, because it just works better than that really big one, because the big one don't stay on my head. So you want to see what I'm going to send you, Des?
Sure.
Oh, it's
It's
a keychain.
it's the leather. It's leather, and it's a keychain.
Oh, that's cool. I'll add it to my keychain collection. That's in my bedroom.
See, these are all leather. My brother was kind of looking at this and thinking how, and making this design. He says that's different than the ones he made with the animals. But yeah. It's leather. And
oh, Ronald made that one?
No, he did not.
Oh, okay.
He did not.
Okay. It's cute.
Yeah. I figured, hey, you're the one that says she's the hippie.
Yes, I am, and I'm dang proud of it. Dang proud of it.
Yep.
Well, Friday was Anastasia's birthday, so they were cooking and everything, and I was kind of like scarce on YouTube. We were having a good time and everything, and we had to do a little bit of schoolwork, because that kept her busy, so they could get things squared away down here for birthday presents and everything. So we got her to open up her presents first, and then they cooked breakfast and all. But they made her a cake, baked her a cake in the New Wave.
Oh,
And
wow.
that thing came out awesome. And I was supposed to post a picture on it. Let me see. Let me get to it. And I'll go back and put it in my community tab. But they bake that and decorate that cake.
Oh, that's so cool.
Wow.
And her mom goes, I messed up on the eye. I'm like, do you know how long it takes for a professional to get those cakes perfect? I said,
Take care,
a
Mona.
long time.
Take care, Mona.
I see you right, Mona. So I said, you did a fantastic job for someone who doesn't do it on a day-to-day basis. Now, they went to cooking school and baking school and all that to learn how to do all that. And I was like, it turned out so well and everything. So I was like, but they baked that cake in the New Wave, because they didn't feel like pulling all the stuff out of the oven either.
I think we're going to the bundt store to go get me a little bundt cakes. Each of us are gonna have our own flavor.
Oh,
so
cool.
my cake will be about this big, a little guy. So I'll have that as my birthday cake, and then we're gonna go to the party store and get me a sash that says 60-year-old tag or something on it.
Oh my goodness.
I'll find a material, and I'll just get some iron-on or something, or some wooden letters and put hag.
I found a new video.
Oh yeah.
That got sent to me because of all the ones you sent to me on making hats. This one is where you have a 36 peg where you have it separated. And then a scarf gets attached to it with hand things to put your hands in.
That's cool.
It is, and I'm
cool.
thinking, I need to make that one.
That's good for people a little bit above me. Down here in Florida, I like my hat. I think that's perfect.
And so far, it's been 6 minutes. And it's still building up the pressure.
Yeah.
Still building the pressure.
I'm looking at Temu right now. They have a steam diverter. You put over your steam thing, and you aim it at a different angle, so that it goes and it steams at a different angle from you. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, those are nice.
It's high enough that you don't get your hand burnt.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it comes up and out, kind of like
What I end up doing when I'm diverting that steam to open it up is I will use my tongs or a wooden spoon. Because I have been steamed and burnt pretty bad.
These are $2. $2, and it looks like a little PVC pipe. It comes up and around like this, but it's silicone.
Wow.
So it's perfect.
Yeah, those are nice. I've seen those. And I was like, now see, I remember, now this is a funny story. Years ago, my mom was pressure cooking potatoes before we went to church.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know what happened or why, because it was the old pressure canners. It was a pressure canner, but you use it to cook pressure. And she put a bunch of potatoes in there. The little jiggler thing was on there. And all of a sudden, next thing you went, phew, that top blew off and potatoes went all over the ceiling. It was, she supposedly there was enough water in it, so we still don't know what happened and why it did that. But I was like, she was like, don't come in the kitchen. And then at first she said, don't come in, because that's hot potatoes, but it was all over the ceiling and coming down, no, falling. I said, then, I can't remember. I remember that happened. I don't remember if we went to church. I know she stayed home and cleaned up, and I think my dad just took the kids and left because she was so mad. But I was like, I'll never forget that. I was like, man.
Hi, Kim.
Hey, Kim, how you doing?
Hi, Kim.
So, because those things, you have to, I have a regular pressure canner that I use to pressure can food in. And you have to watch those gauges, because if they go to that red, that's exactly what they're going to do. That top is going to go right on off. And
the pressure canner that I have right now was the one my sister had, has just the jiggler that is 5, 10, and 15, does not have a gauge. And you've got to know how to make that thing work right, because not having a gauge really scares me.
yeah, I know. And I was just like,
Hi, Rochelle.
hey, Rochelle.
Is that Rochelle?
Yeah, Rochelle. Because I think my mom had an all-American one in just like a Presto regular pressure canner. Because I think she had 2. So, but yeah, it was potatoes, and it's just like, no, we had one, like the old one that was just a pot with the top, and you just look, it went on there, it locked, and it had the little thing on the top. My dad used to cook beef tips and turnips and onions and potatoes in that thing. Always turned out so good. That was one of his things he liked to cook. And cabbage all the time. Cabbage and potatoes. But I still love cabbage. Anastasia likes cabbage raw. She does not like it cooked.
I like coleslaw cabbage.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to cook. I don't know. It's like celery. I don't like it raw or cooked. But I like celery. I like coleslaw. So I like cabbage in my coleslaw.
Yeah. Coleslaw is good, especially when you put it on like barbecue or put
Barbecue
pork sandwich and stuff like that.
Yeah. We had when I used to work at a deli years ago in Annapolis when I was able-bodied. Hey, Matt. We used to have, you know what a Reuben is, right? It's a Reuben sauerkraut, $1,000 dressing, right? Mm-hmm. Well, they had a Rachel, which was, instead of sauerkraut, it was coleslaw. So it was on the sweeter side. So you have the Reuben, which is the guy, and you had the Rachel, which was the girl. So did you want it with sauerkraut, or do you want it with coleslaw? It's sweet. I loved it. It was great.
I love sauerkraut.
I like it on my hot dogs.
Yes, I do.
Well, wait.
Jeez Louise.
Hi, Lady Sky.
But I hear it. So it's building up. That's 11 minutes, 40 seconds. But I can hear the pressure building up. So, like I said, I haven't been using it like I should have because this sucker is heavy.
Yeah, this is heavy. And I'm like, and I return the other one that was bigger. Can you imagine? Uh,
I do have the book to this, and I'm not one of the ones to read books and manuals to stuff.
you don't read the instructions, huh?
Passion here. I don't read instructions to the crock pot or nothing. And then just forget it. Oh, I know what this button's supposed to do. You don't have to do it.
Yeah.
So I'll go, maybe I should just read this first to see what you're supposed to do. I still haven't read it.
I wish I loved to cook, but I can't even get in the kitchen anymore to cook. To learn again, to learn new recipes and stuff. My son lately has been going online and looking up how to make things.
Right.
And what's it that he made the other day that was so good? He made something and he read it offline. It was amazing. He found a meatloaf recipe that was amazing. And I hadn't had meatloaf in like 28 years.
Oh yeah, meatloaf is awesome.
Yeah.
We may get a bark from a dog because I'm ignoring him.
Oh, okay. That's all right. He's trying to tell you, Mom, listen to me.
He's doing that shake right now, and you hear him snorting. It's like Mom is not paying attention to me. You can take the
It was so funny because they were telling me we're having this Friday night, so they've made they make fried chicken. He makes the best fried chicken. Oh my goodness. Then last night they had sausage. So there was like, she goes, well, Saturday night we're having this and Sunday we're having rice. You got to find yourself something to eat. I was like, I'm quite sure I can find me something to eat. Because, having that alcohol I can't have. And boy, do I miss it. Oh my goodness. I miss roast and steak and regular hamburgers and stuff like that. But, I do go with the turkey burger. Find different ways. I still can have hamburgers when I use that or meatloaf.
Oh.
Now, I do my spaghetti. When I have spaghetti, I do it differently because the tomato sauce, I have to just have it once in a while because I will hurt because it flares up inflammation.
All the acid and everything in the tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
when I have spaghetti sauce, I have to add a little bit of sugar to try to take the acid out.
Yep. And we forget that. We forget about adding the sugar, but then I'm just like, that's okay. I can always figure out something to do with the noodles and the meat, some kind of different way. And my son goes, you eat weird. I looked at him so funny. I'm like, you used to eat the same thing I ate all the time growing up. No, I didn't. I'm like, yes, you did. This is so funny. We go to a store and like the huh?
Lady Sky, she made a Catalina chicken a few nights ago. I'm like, what's a Catalina chicken?
Oh goodness, Catalina dressing. That's all you need. You take your chicken, you take the Catalina dressing, pour it over top of it, and let it bake for like on 350 for like an hour or so till your chicken.
Without like a dressing or a marinade.
Mm-hmm. You can do Italian dressing also. Do the same thing.
I've done the stuff from Lowry, their marinades, but I've just Catalina never heard of. She wants to know if there's a link to come up on.
Yeah, Kim.
All right, Kim, hold on.
Lady Sky.
I didn't drop the link. I just sent it to Rebekah and
Dez
because
they're trying to explain to me how to use Instapot because mine, I tried cooking black beans in it 2.5 years ago. Well, let's just say it's been sitting in the cabinet since because it was a disaster.
Beans didn't get done.
They cooked all day in the pressure cooker and they didn't get cooked all the way. So, yeah. I love having it, but I hate having it because it's been sitting in a cabinet. I have a crock pot. I can handle my crock pot.
I had one that was a Ninja that had an aluminum pot that you could put in that slow cooker. The bad thing that ended up happening was that thing only lasted 2 years. I still have the aluminum pot, and the reason I liked that aluminum pot, it didn't break like the ones that are whatever they call them,
Ceramic or whatever.
the ceramic ones.
Stone. Yeah.
But yeah, the base part of it went bad within 2 years.
Yeah, I had mine for many, many years. My lid on my crock pot or slow cooker, the handle broke off, so we would take a knife and put it underneath the lid to take it off, which was fine with me because it still did its thing. But the base got a crack in it, so we started using the bags for it. But I wanted to get a new one anyway because I had it since like my son was little. It was a Christmas gift from my mom's sister, my aunt, and I swear I use that thing at least 2 or 3 times a week. I loved it.
Oh yeah, definitely. When my kids' son was little and work, I would put stuff in that crock pot, put it on low, and I'd cook all day long. It was done when we got home.
Yeah, I do. I do chicken breasts with a can of chicken condensed soup, like the big one. So I'll use like 4 chicken breasts and that, and then a block of Philly cream cheese and zesty Italian seasoned dressing, and we'll put it in there and let it cook all day. And then I shred it and mix it. And you can either have it with rice on the side, or you can have it with corn in there and the petite diced potatoes in there, and that's like a meal in itself. And that filled us up for like a couple of days. Or I would do a jar of the paste picante sauce, a package of taco seasoning, and that in there, and let it cook. And then I would shred it. And we would do little tacos, but you have to eat over the plate because you'll have it all down the front of you. And then we would also have it on the rice because of the liquid from the picante sauce. And it's like one of our favorite meals. It's like it's quick, it's easy. Throw it in there, ignore it, go back to it later.
Exactly.
What is your command for weather, Nancy?
It should be just weather and then your zip code.
Okay, we put an exclamation, so
yeah.
It should be weather. I had it, but
There it is.
Yes, there it is. Okay.
Yeah. And then you type home or Stuffy for Anastasia, and to drop link in the chat. And I don't mind you drop your link if you drop other channels links. Y'all know me. I share everything. It's on my community page.
Hi,
See here, I'm getting up.
Portland at 67. Hi, farm wife.
Let's see. Hi, farm wife.
Hey, farm wife.
Let's see what
we're 76 here in northern Florida.
I'm at 64 today.
Just give me a few minutes, Kim, because this computer is just like,
Wind is blowing 10 miles per hour for you. What's it blowing for? Oh, wind is blowing at 5 miles per hour for Portland for Lady. And for us, we're blowing at 9 miles per hour. I like our humidity, though. We're 28%, which is so nice.
Yeah,
I would definitely want to try using like a bean soup or making beans in that thing again. I want to see try to get off of the canned beans.
Des, one thing I did is instead of doing cold water, I did lukewarm water in the rinsing of those beans. So they got warmed up a little bit.
And they'll
You know,
have to
that
soak
might-
overnight for sure.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Learn
Make
that.
sure you soak.
Learn that. Does open the bag, put it in the sink, and let it soak.
Yes.
Rinse it a couple of times, then throw it in. And then, how much water do you use for like for that? Just read the bag and see what it says. Never mind.
I usually put more than it says whenever I'm doing beans, because when I do beans, I don't want them where I like my beans wet. You know, where
Yeah.
you have broth coming from them.
Yeah, I
Instead
too.
of I don't like mine like I
Kind of
don't
like
like
a bean
I
soup.
don't like a stew. I don't like a stew. I like a soup.
Yeah. I like a soup. Yeah. I've never heard of Snickers apple salad. That's wild.
Ooh, I gotta look that recipe up.
That sounds good.
It does. My mom used to make she would grate carrots and she put tidbit, pineapple, raisins, and then she put mayonnaise. If she didn't have any mayonnaise, she would use yogurt and mix that together. And oh, it was so good. You know, she'd cut up apples and
I want to make the German cucumber salad.
ooh.
Yeah.
Yes, everybody's getting hungry because we're talking about food.
Yeah,
And
my
she-
kids have not even taken anything out of the freezer, so I have no clue what we're having for dinner tonight. Maybe we'll have pancakes and sausages or something.
Hey, Jazzy Joyce. Des, could you do me a favor?
Hi, Laura. This
I can do a
stuff-
quick second. Can you forward that email link I sent you for StreamYard to Kim Burris?
I don't have Kim's email address, so hold on. I'll grab I'm gonna go to her channel, see if it's there. Because I already have my email opened.
I don't have my email opened.
I do.
I think-
She's got nothing on her about page. Kim, how am I supposed to send you this email? Nancy, oh, she's gone.
Yes, she is.
I'm like, Nancy, can I have her email address, please?
Let me check my address book because
Oh, there you go, farm wife. See what she said?
yes. Lemon and or orange. Yes. She also did that one too. Yeah, and sometimes we would put walnuts in, sometimes we wouldn't, depending on if we had walnuts. Everybody talks about pecans. Not pecans, it's pecan. That's how I
Pecans.
say it. Pecans.
I know it sounds cool when you say it. Pecans.
Pecans.
Sounds like a bird talking.
Trying to see if I have.
She's trying to come back. She's in loading mode. I can't send it to her. She doesn't have her email on her about page.
Okay.
I tried. Ah, I gotcha. I totally understand that. And I don't blame you. Oh,
She changed our layout. You cropped us.
Nancy, find another layout.
Hold on.
I'm wearing my beard well.
Oh, this thing has a mind of its own.
Oh my goodness.
All right. It's
Move
slowly
over.
cooking. So it's going to cook. We'll see how well this cooks. Oh my goodness. That's like Anastasia playing with it. Well, yesterday when Zoom, it would mute me, it would unmute me. It would mute me, it would unmute. It did it all on itself. All right, let me get back to how is it supposed to be? This is supposed to be normal.
Click all the different windows.
Yeah,
There we go.
there we go.
Thank you. Yeah, I bet you guys wonder why I always have those 2 yellow buckets back there is because my dogs like to get on my couch and I don't want them up there.
Yeah. Got any bread? A moment in the word.
Hi. Oh,
Hey,
God.
Diane, how you doing?
That is Darian. Darian.
All right, let me get this. Hold on. Ah,
I know that Kim lives in the same state I do.
We have a few YouTubers in the state, and I don't know any of them.
We're both in Missouri.
Misery.
Ronald's saying misery. I'm saying Missouri.
Oh, give it a rest. I say Missouri. I say misery also. Fort Lost in the Woods and Misery. When I was in the Army, that's what we used to call it, Fort Lost in the Woods.
You mean Fort Leonard Wood?
Fort Lost in the Woods, yep.
all right. I sent you Kim's email address, and I could have just sent her the link myself.
Yes, you could have.
I was sitting there thinking about this stupid computer. Oh, goodness gracious.
Oh, wow. Ladies, that sounds amazing.
All right, so it's actually it's cooking. It's been doing it for 4 minutes.
The major problem is, Kim, my vehicle's about to leave tomorrow because it's about to blow a rod through the engine. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
I'm
losing
gonna
her
be
car tomorrow.
I'm going to be without a vehicle. But trust me, we've got some good neighbors that get me to where I need to be, which is so nice of them. You know, I found a car online that was for $700. It's a Toyota.
Toyotas are great cars.
It makes me wonder. It has 100 and something miles, but what is wrong with it? Because Toyotas are not cheap vehicles.
Toyotas last a long time.
They last a long time, so it kind of makes me a little bit worried.
So that's when you have a mechanic look at it
Definitely.
before you buy it. Can I have my mechanic look at it, please?
Were you able to forward that link?
Is that a duo? No, that's not a duo. That's a regular.
And then I've been having senior moments since I was 17 years old.
Yeah, I know those. I've had plenty of senior moments as I've gotten older. My whole front of my car shakes and it makes noises. It's got 209,300 miles on it. No, 219,300 miles on it. It's a 2005 Hyundai Tucson. Store.
Did you get the link, Kim? Hi, Jazzy Joyce.
So, yeah, it's like I did that in high school. My senior year, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a good year. I got me a notebook to write all the stuff down because I noticed my junior year I was beginning about tests and other stuff. And I'm just like, this year I'm going to write everything down. Put the notebook in the locker, forget the notebook. We go home, I get home, and how's school? School was good. You know.
I do that all the time. I have a notebook right here, and I'm like, I gotta bring this with me to go grocery shopping, right? It's sitting right there. What do? I forget. So my son's here, my daughter's with me. I call my son and said, "Can you take a picture of the list for me? Send me the list." Because my daughter, I'll be like, "Do you have the list? No. Do you have the list? No." Jeremy, take a picture and send it to me.
Yep. And then I'm like, Monday, there's a big test. I'm like, okay, Lord, just there you go.
Des, did you send Kim the?
No, Nancy did.
No, I didn't. I sent you Kim's address email.
Oh,
Sent you Kim's address, so you haven't sent it.
hold on.
The
All
email.
right, hold on.
Email to Dez. And I kept thinking, so I could have just done it myself, but I didn't.
Oh, that's
Hold on, it's coming. I got my two windows open. I can do this.
Big project for school. I forgot one. Well, I forget about book reports and everything. And I was like, it's like, okay, something's going on. So one day I was going from my bedroom to the kitchen. I get to the kitchen. I'm like, what did I come to the kitchen for? My mom goes, she was doing something. She forgot. She goes, I think I'm having a senior moment. I said, I'll hold it right there. There's no such thing as a senior moment because I just came from my bedroom to the kitchen and I can't remember what I was coming in here for. I walked back to the bedroom to remember what I was going to the kitchen for. I'll do that now. I'll go upstairs. I was like, don't forget to do this so you can get upstairs. And I got upstairs like, all right, wait a minute. What was I supposed to be doing?
It happened to me yesterday. I was coming up here to get something and I kept repeating it to myself, and then my brother said something to me and it was just gone.
I'm sending it out there for you. It just got sent.
But she says, Farm Wife says she puts it on her grocery list on her phone.
I need to do that with my Alexa because I gotta be careful. She's right here. But I also have it on my phone, so I can do the grocery list and get it this way too. I don't think of these things because I'm still learning Alexa, even though I've had it for like 3 or 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, y'all don't have to subscribe to everybody. I was sitting here when I was playing around with Nightbot when I first started doing this, and I was like, I just put it there. But my thing is, just go check people out. You can learn something, even if it's one thing, you can still learn something from somebody.
There she is.
Yes,
I had a blonde moment. Kim. I didn't realize.
That's quite all right. I do that frequently.
Yeah, but I didn't realize she sent it to me. I thought she was sending it to you. Instead, she sent me your email for me to send the link to you.
I heard her say that. It was my first good laugh of the morning.
Then I go, I could have done it myself.
It's all right, darling.
That's what I mean. We had our blonde moments together.
No kidding. What's funny is that both of my daughters were born with beautiful golden blonde hair.
Yeah.
And the oldest outgrew it by the time she was like 6, and her hair started turning this really pretty light brown color, and she's still got beautiful hair. It's she hates to admit it, there's a lot of red in it, but I am a natural redhead.
Yeah.
And my girls they can't stand the thought that they have red in their hair. And the youngest, her hair is a dark auburn now.
I love dark auburn.
The first time that she met my boyfriend, she was clowning around about a bunch of stuff, and he reached out and he started running his fingers through the back of her hair, and she was like, "What are you doing?" He said, "I was looking for the blonde that apparently hasn't gone yet." She turned around and she says, "Mom, can I hit him?" I said, "No." He said, hey, he said, I was just checking. He said, your mother told me that you were born a blonde. He said, obviously, the color may be gone, but you haven't totally outgrown it.
Let me show you a picture of two of my siblings that are redheads. My sister Marilyn is an Auburn,
goodness.
and my sister Judy is a redhead. So I have red in my hair too. There's nothing I can do about it.
When my beard first,
when my brother's
beard first came out,
it was red.
Yeah,
he's blonde. He's blonde head.
Yeah, my dad was a dishwater, what they call a dishwater blonde, but his beard was just as red as fire. And I have 3 of his sisters had bright red hair. Mine, when I was little, was more like what they called a strawberry blonde. Mm-hmm. But by the time that I was a teenager, it had darkened. It's never been that coppery, carroty color. My hair's just always had a really pretty tone to it. As I have aged, it has gotten darker. And of course, now there's a lot of white in it. And my youngest keeps teasing me. She's like, Mom, will you please let me dye your hair? I said, why? She said, because you're starting to look your age. I said, honey, and okay, I'm 68. I will admit this gladly. I've earned every one of these.
That's what I say about my hair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not only that, but natural redheads, we don't turn gray. We turn white. And I am of Irish descent. So, there's a lot of white in here, and I've earned every one of them.
Yeah, my boyfriend that passed away, he was 3 years younger than me when he passed. He was like 53. But he was a strawberry blonde. And when he got into his late 30s or mid 30s, he started going white. He told me, because I hadn't seen him since I was 21. And then when we reconnected in my 40s, late 40s, and we started like video chatting, he was all white hair, all white, big fluffy beard, kind of like Skipper and Simon, just all white. And it was so funny because people would be laughing. I'm like, who's the old man? I'm like, he's my age. We're the same age, only he's like 9 months younger than me. I mean, older than me. It's just like, but I'm going to be 60. But if you look at my hair out in the sun, it's all salt and pepper. And you would not know it unless you look like right here. You can see like a limited white streak. But out in the sun, I'm all salt and pepper. When I was a kid, I was a dirty blonde. It was brown, and because I was living in the Virgin Islands and stuff, so the sun and the bleach of the sun and the ocean water and all that stuff kept my hair light until I moved up north.
Mm-hmm. If you guys look, I'm starting to get that white in mine. I don't care.
Ever since I was probably 19, just before my 20th birthday, I developed this little white streak in here. Yeah. My dad's oldest sister had what she always referred to as a skunk spot. And my Aunt Lorraine had developed that. I think Daddy said she was only 16 or 17 when it started coming in. When she died, her hair had never gone totally gray. And she still had that white stripe. None of her kids inherited it. None of her grandkids have inherited it. Her great-grandchildren don't have it, and her great-great-grandchildren don't have it.
That's
Me,
wild.
I got it. And so and of course, in my wedding pictures that were taken in 1978, a friend of mine helped me style my hair that day. I wore my hair down. I did not want it up on top of my head. I have enough hair for 4 people. I even had a beautician tell me that. Yeah. So I didn't want it up on top of my head because it causes headaches. And so we left it down. And my girlfriend helped me style it to where that white spot did not show. And the night that I met my husband, he looked at me and he kind of pushed my hair back and he said, "What is this?" And I said, "It's my stripe." He said, "Where do you have that done?" I said, "It's natural." And in all of the years that we were married, he would comment, he'd say, "Ma, Stripe's getting bigger." I'm like, "Yeah, because of you. I'm earning it." And it was, okay, I'll put it this way. I married a Marine, Vietnam War. I fought his battles right along beside of him. And up to a year after he passed, I walked into the VA center at Columbia, Missouri, and there were still 3 clerks that ran because they knew what I was like to deal with, because I fought for him for 8
Right.
years. I have gone nose to nose with some surgeons and physicians down there, and I backed a couple of them right onto their little rolly seats. And my husband would just say, "Ma, now calm down. Ma, settle down." I turned around, looked at him, and I said, "You say Ma one more time, I'm going to smack you right off that table."
Yeah.
And his primary doc just cracked up laughing, and he said, "John," he said, "I think you better hang on to her." He said, "Do you know," he said, "this is the first wife I've met in all of my years of practice that was willing to go to bat for her husband by coming into the exam rooms with him every visit."
Yeah.
Dave said, "Hey," he said,
My,
his name was John David, but he went by Dave. And he said, "Hey," he said, "she understands all of this medical jargon." He said, "You tell her what's going on." He said, "Then when we head home," he said, "she can explain it to me in redneck terms."
Yeah.
And I said, "Seriously?" He said, "Yeah." He said, he said, "Doc," he said, "I'm just an old Missouri country boy." He said, "I never finished school." He said, "Yeah," he said, "I got my GED while I was in Vietnam, but," he said, "what's that prove?" He said, "All it proves is that I finished a course." He said, "I'm not smart as to what most people think of as smart," but he said, "You give me a task, I can complete it." And he
Yeah.
said, "And I can damn sure hit what I'm aiming at." He was one of the Marine sharpshooters. He was Da Nang and north into the DMZ. I found out later he was highly decorated. And I asked him one time, I said, why don't you talk about this?" He said, "I was just doing a job." And he said, I said, "Do you have any of your medals?" He said, "No." I said, "What'd you do with them?" He said, "They're somewhere in the jungles over there in Nam." He said, "I didn't want them." He said, "I didn't do it for the recognition." He volunteered to be a Marine. He volunteered for Vietnam. So I kind of have a soft spot for a Vietnam vet. And I will admit, I hear somebody talking down to him. This little 5-foot tall granny becomes a 10-foot tall giant that he's going to rip you a new one if you ain't careful. And I heard somebody here not very long ago be rude to a veteran, and I just about lost it in a Walmart store. And by the time I got done speaking with that person, they were one that thought they were highly entitled. And I was like, "No, you ain't entitled to nothing other than acting like a stupid ass, because this guy went and fought a war that gave you this right to be a jerk. You need to be telling him thankful that you haven't had to go to one yet." And the kid just turned around and he looked at the guy and he said, "Well, I'm sorry." He said, "I guess thank you for your service." And the guy said, "Thank you for finally realizing what somebody else did for you." And it just, that kind of stuff, we owe every one of them a huge debt of thanks.
we do. Certainly do.
So, and the guy that I'm going with, all 3 of his boys served. One served on a naval, on one of the battleships. His 2 younger boys were Marines, one in Afghanistan and one in Iraq. And they are wonderful young men. So they kid each other. the Marines constantly kid the Navy guy. And they're like, you were out on a boat floating around in the water. We were the boots on the ground. What were you doing? And he said, I was helping man those big guns when it was necessary. And they were like, well, okay, we'll grant you that. So they get along good. It's a very close-knit family.
How's it going over there, Nancy?
It's she showed it was steaming. The pressure was relieving.
Oh, I hear it.
Yeah. I turned it so it will let all the steam out, and I'm showing the little, this is still up, and as soon as all of that's out, it will go down.
It will go down.
Ah.
What's in the cooker?
I
The
love
cook in
my
the
big
slow cooker.
electric pressure cooker.
Oh, the slow cooker, that is the rice, potato, and carrot.
For the family. That's cool.
Oh, goodness. It
Yum.
smells so delicious.
Yesterday, I took a packet of minestrone soup, and I had a stew meat that I cooked in my skillet, and then added, I put garlic, and I had finally got some of that SPG from, I'd won it on Devil Dogs, and I sprinkled some of that on there. And then I put it in my pot, and I got a can of diced carrots, green beans, and mixed vegetables. And I put that all together, and then I put that minestrone soup in there and cooked that. And that's what we're going to have for lunch today. So I made that
Rebekah,
yesterday.
that sounds good.
Oh, it is. So I cooked that yesterday, so I don't have to cook today. I'm going to probably steam some rice. I'm probably going to steam some rice to put it on top of, and do that today.
That sounds wonderful.
Oh, it does. It's like, hey, I just wanted to not have to cook today.
A girlfriend of mine brought me a 10-pound bag of chicken leg quarters night before last. And of course, I keep my apartment fairly cool. And when my mom was alive, I got used to the cooler temperatures, especially in the wintertime, because she had COPD. It made it a lot easier for her to breathe. So I haven't even turned my furnace on yet. And so my apartment stays cool. And I said, you know what? She was here around midnight. I said, I'm going to be getting up about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning anyway. So let's just put the chicken in the sink. I'll put it in a container. It can thaw out and I'll be fine. And so I got up yesterday morning and I cut the leg quarters all apart, wound up having 8 of them. And I got them packed into my big pressure cooker. It's an 8-quart. And I put about 40 ounces of water in with it. And so I pressured it for 45 minutes. And when I went to take it out, I wound up having to get my spider tool to get it out because it was falling off of the bones. And so I got it cooled and I had this beautiful broth after doing that. And once it cooled, I stripped all the meat off of the bones and I wound up with 5 pints of the meat and 3 pints of broth, even after pouring the broth over the chicken in the jars. And I had my canner container all cleaned up, and I just put 4 pints of the chicken back in, and I was processing chicken last night at 7 o'clock, and it turned out beautifully. And I just, of course, all I can in that pressure cooker is a pint, but it will hold 4 pints safely. Ooh. And oh my, that looks gorgeous.
So it didn't cook it all the way. So that was on 20 minutes. But this was from frozen to it took an hour because it took like almost 30 minutes for the pressure to get there. But then we did it for 20 minutes. So what I can do now, I can cut this up, put it on this steam, and put vegetables in here and steam it. So, or do sear saute. And it's hot.
Thank you. Ruby was just saying my hair looks beautiful. Thank you so much. I found some new shampoo at a wig shop And my hair
Nice.
when I was using other shampoos, it would just be fluffy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I went to this different type that had some berries in it. I don't know if my brother would go and get the shampoo I use now. And it lays nicer. It has keratin in it. It gave my hair a completely different look. And usually my hairdresser would use one of those flat irons to flatten my hair. I don't have to do that anymore with this new shampoo I've started using.
That's
Thank you, Andy.
good.
So, it's like trying to
That's
find
good.
something, so I washed it Friday and it's still looking good. So, but yeah, I'll show you
It
how
looks
long
really
this is.
nice down.
That's how long my hair is.
Oh my goodness.
It's getting really long.
Oh, it looks
Yeah.
really nice. I can't wear my hair long. Like I said, I've got enough hair for 4 people. And
Thank you, Betsy. Choice.
you know the ponytail holders that are probably about as big around as a baseball?
This is what I use now.
Yeah.
Hi.
I use these because my hair tends to
Hi,
break.
Anastasia.
Hey, Anastasia. But yeah, I use just these now.
And they're gone.
But when I had
I
my
said,
hair
"Come on."
long, I could only put one of those around my hair. I could wrap it around and then twist it once, and it was a struggle to get it back around my hair. It is that heavy. And
Wow.
I was having such awful headaches. And I thought, I know what's doing this. And when I was 7 years old, I was diagnosed with migraines. And a doctor told my mom, he said, and of course, I was 4.5 feet tall, and my hair from the crown of my head to the bottom of it was 27 inches long.
Wow.
And so I had a tremendous amount of hair. And the doctor told my mother, he said, you get that haircut and she will stop having these awful headaches, because I was missing 2 and 3 days of school at a time because the headaches would be so bad that I was vomiting and I couldn't see, I couldn't stand light. And that was why they diagnosed the migraines. I still have a migraine on occasion, but I keep this cut.
Yeah, not
And
what you had before.
It makes a lot of difference. Des, I heard you talking about cooking beans in your pressure pot.
My Instapot?
I have got several books on instant pot or pressure pot cooking. All but one of them says that if you start with a completely dry bean, to add for 1 pound of beans, which is normally the equivalent of about 2 cups, to always add at least 6 to 8 cups of fluid, because the beans will expand that much. Pinto beans and white beans are the ones who will take the most fluid. And of course, that's my 2 favorite beans. Black beans don't tend to expand very much, and kidney beans usually don't.
Yeah, black beans are my favorite, and red beans.
Yeah. And so you could probably get by with 6 to maybe 7 cups of fluid. And I'll tell you something, if you will mix just a little bit of either chicken bouillon powder, real chicken broth, or some of that better than bouillon chicken base, it adds a tremendous amount of flavor. But there is also something in that. There's just enough salt in it to really help those skins soften better. And you will find that your beans have a lot better flavor.
Okay.
And
Shadow,
I've
you take care, hon. Have a good night.
Shadow, have a great
Shadow's
night.
headed to bed.
Good night, Shadow. I've
Kim,
cooked
you've
so
got my
many things in
address
it.
now, Kim. So
Huh?
you've got my email address now. Can you email me that
Yes, I
information?
do.
Can you
Yes,
email me?
I will.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, because I want to know about the chicken broth, the different chicken broths. Because I get the Goya. The Goya's got the powdered chicken broth and the beef
Yes.
broth. That's usually what I buy.
Yes.
So
Yeah, they are both good. I have to be
Okay.
careful because I've got soy allergies. So
Yeah.
I can't have any of that stuff with soy. And the brand that I was buying was the Orrington Farms from Walmart. they started putting soy in it. So I had to switch. Well, the only one I can find without soy now is the Better Than Bouillon Organic, and it doesn't have soy in it, and it's absolutely delicious.
Yeah, I like to watch my salt intake, and soy is very salty anyway. So
Yes.
yeah, so it's like I have to be careful. I have to be careful of what I mean. I don't want to be. It's not like I'm taking high blood pressure. They would like to put me on high blood pressure. They've given it to me, and I won't take it because the only time my pressure goes up is when I'm around my doctors. When I'm at home and I use my cuff, it's kind of regular. I've got that white coat syndrome thing. So it might go up to 143 is the highest at the top. So, but I still watch my salt. I still try to keep it like I don't put salt on my eggs anymore unless it's a hard-boiled egg. Any other time, I don't put it on. You know, I use pepper before I use.
So this is what I got.
We went from cooking to shampoo.
This is what I ended up getting. That's what I got. This is the cream, the conditioner, and it is for dry and damaged hair. It has been amazing what it has done.
Awesome. I'm limited to 2 shampoos because I have rosacea in my scalp, and the only 2 shampoos I found that don't just drive my head crazy with itching, and I've been known to scratch my head till it bleeds, is either the Selsun Blue with conditioners in it, which even for a small bottle of it is almost $8.
Yeah,
but the other one I found is the Suave that has shea and is it argan oil and shea?
Yeah.
And they both work really well.
And the price difference is probably a lot better.
Yeah.
On the Suave.
Yeah, the Suave, I can get the shampoo and the conditioner for about $5.
Right.
And so that's the one that I tend to lean toward. But if my head goes to itching very bad, I go back and I use the Selsun Blue.
Yeah, you keep it on tap for backup.
One doctor had recommended when they first discovered it, he said, Head and Shoulders, and he told me which one to get. And I said, I'm allergic to Head and Shoulders. And he said, what? I said, I'm allergic to it. It breaks my scalp out in big blisters. And no, I'm not using that. Sorry, doc. And so he told me, he said, I can get you a prescription for a shampoo that is specific to this. But he said, I'm not sure your insurance is going to cover it. And I said, give me the name of it. When I go home, I'll check it out. Well, it wound up, it was going to run me about $40 a month. And the insurance said, no, this is not something that we will cover. And I was like, no, I'll stick with the Selsun Blue and I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Jazzy Joyce, if you want to email me my email is on my about page so that I can send you where I got this. I can't remember the name of the wig shop. It's a name that
you can. Yeah, but you can give her the name of the.
Yeah, I can give her the name of the shampoo that I ended up picking up.
Yeah,
it has been nice because my hair would be so fly away and just dry until I started using this. Hey, Blue, come. Blue, come. Good boy.
What are we adding in there, Nancy?
Hi. Everybody was coming in with groceries. That's why I made it.
Yeah.
What I did, I took the chicken, just like pulled it apart, and I put it on a sear saute. I'm gonna show y'all what. So this is the sear saute. I have it on medium high. I probably should have it on medium. So and I season it with salt, garlic powder, and onion powder.
Yeah.
Rebekah, mute yourself.
It's 12. The batteries.
And it didn't. Actually, it's probably done. It doesn't take long for it to cook when it's on medium high.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make sure that I just turn that down to low. That way, because it's almost searing it, and I'm like, I don't want it seared. I just want it cooked, and I don't want the juices cooked out of it. And what I like about this, if you try to put the top down, if I go to put the top down, it tells you, it says open lid.
That's pretty cool.
That helps out also. So that I can put it back on low. I'll show y'all.
Yeah, she said her hair's very long and fuzzy like mine was. You know, it's about, oh, that looks good.
Oh my.
And
Nancy, you're making me hungry.
so probably about pressure from frozen to cook. Because we did 20 minutes. So it would probably been like maybe 10 more minutes and been 30 minutes. So then it would have been cooked with the pressure cooker. So then what I did was, since it wasn't all the way done, I took it apart. Those breasts, they were huge. And then put it in chunks and put it on the sear saute. Let that cook for about 5-10 more minutes, just to make sure it's all done. And then this one you can add different vegetables in there, that like your broccoli or cauliflower, or open a can of carrots or peas or corn and put it in there and let that just all cook, and then you got your meal. So, but
several years.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Nancy.
I was gonna say, I don't put that much salt on there. Not because I don't have high blood pressure. I'm not diabetic. None of that. It's just that I like more of tasting your garlic and the other flavors more than I do the salt.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever use the Mrs. Dash seasonings?
Yeah, we used to.
Salt in them.
Yeah, I usually make my own, and I've got Italian seasoning in there that I made, and I need to use it. But we have a big thing of thyme and rosemary, oregano, and then we have chives and stuff, but I didn't put that in there. Sometimes I'll make my own blend and then use it. I'll make my own chili powder.
Yeah.
Just because from the store, the other spices, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And
I know. I got started watching here. I guess it was about 2.5 years ago. I started watching a YouTuber. Her channel is Whippoorwill Holler, and she's got a whole bunch of recipes for homemade mixes. I started making her chili mix, and it is absolutely delicious. I made it and gave half-pint jars of it to, excuse me, each one of my girls for Christmas. And the oldest one, her husband called me and he said, "Where did you find that chili mix?" And I said, "I made it." He said, "You're kidding." And I said, "No." He said, "Mom," he said, "that's better than anything we've been able to find in the market." I said, "Heath," I said, "if you want the recipe, I will give it to you." I said, "Becky can make it easy enough." And he said, "Yes." And so she uses it now. She's got a mix for dry beans that's on there. She calls it pinto bean seasoning, but I have used it with all different beans, and I make my own soup bean mix without lentils, and it turns out beautifully. And I like them because I'm controlling the ingredients that are in it. Some of them do call for salt, but she specified when she was making them, because I watched the video, she said, use either kosher salt or sea salt. She said, you don't have to use table salt. She said, I know you can, but she said, these are my preferences. I started buying the sea salt and I really like it. And I like that Himalayan pink salt.
Mhm.
You don't have to add near as much, and you get so much more flavor out of it. It's wonderful.
Exactly. So that's what we had: kosher salt and sea salt. We ran out of pink Himalayan salt, and I keep forgetting to put it on the grocery list. But
Mhm.
but that's what
That's
I
what I use is Himalayan
Mhm.
Himalayan salt.
and this is done, and it tastes so good. So it cooked on pressure at 20
Good.
minutes, which it was almost done. So 30 minutes would have had it done. And then I just finished with a sear saute on it.
Mhm.
Now I could have saved the juice,
Awesome.
the liquid, and then used that liquid to cook rice. But
Oh yeah.
I didn't even think about that. But anytime you like liquid, like your chicken liquid, it makes chicken stock if you do it that way.
Mhm.
But you can use that to cook rice. I still
Mhm.
haven't learned quite yet how to do rice in this thing.
That's something I like about my Power Pressure Plus. I bought it from QVC a few years ago. And of course, the year that I bought it, my oldest called me and she said, "Mom, do you have an Instapot?" No, honey, I don't, but I've got the big Power Pressure Plus. And she said, "You have a what?" I said, "It's the big Power Pressure Plus. I got it from QVC, and it's an 8-quart size electric pressure cooker." And she says, "Oh, so you don't need an Instapot?" I said, "No, not really." And she says, "Okay, then."
Sorry.
And I find I'm using it for a lot more things than what I did when I started, but I really like it. And yes, it's big, it's heavy, but I have a really good neighbor that lives right across the hall from me, and Shay is taller than me, and she is such a sweetheart. And if she's not home when I need the pressure cooker down, because I keep it on top of my fridge, and all I have to do is go tack a note on her door that says, "Please help," and she comes over and she'll say, which appliance do you need down?" She's good to get them down for me. But I love using it. And it just, oh, and I'll tell you what, throwing a whole chicken in there, I mean, literally, mine is big enough. I can put 3 to 4 pound chickens in it at one time, and they're done in an hour's time.
Nice.
And wonderful.
Awesome.
You know, it
It
makes me. I'm gonna look up on this one to see if
Mhm.
if you could put canning jars in here to pressure seal them with that high pressure in this one.
But I need
Yeah.
to.
I don't know.
Well,
Lance.
it's only going to cook at 10 pounds of pressure anyway. And depending on what you cook in it, I mean, like that chicken that I did last night, it said 75 minutes. Well, mine only goes up by 10-minute increments. So I did mine for 80 minutes. It didn't hurt it a bit. And it turned out absolutely beautiful. That's 4 pints of chicken that I will have to use later that I can count on. Yeah, I've still got a pint plus 2 pints of the broth in my refrigerator. And I'm just thinking, about tomorrow, I'm not going to worry about canning it. I'm just going to make a bunch of chicken and noodles out of it. And I'm controlling the ingredients. And I make my own homemade noodles. And so it will work out just fine. My only problem is I got to get more jars. But now my youngest daughter, I got her the smaller Power Pressure, and hers is the 6-quart. And she said, "Mom," she said, "I don't think I could put jars in mine." I said, "Let me check it out." I said, "Rachel, if you can put a pint jar in there, you can do this." And I said, "Granted, you're only going to be able to use pint jars. I mean, mine, I can't use a quart jar in." And it seems to me like somebody said they do have one that you can put a quart jar in, but when I checked the price on it,
Yeah.
they're over $300, and I'm like, no, I don't think so.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
That's crazy.
even a pint jar, I would think if you're having something else with it, that could still fill my brother and I to eat. just having
Yeah.
one pint jar, just literally having one pint jar and then some other stuff would be enough for us
Yeah.
to eat for supper,
Right.
And I look at it like, okay, I'll admit, I go to food pantries. I'm on a very fixed income, so I don't have a whole lot coming in. There's a lot of things that, because of the amount of my income, I don't qualify for a whole lot of other things. So yeah, I go to the food pantries. The last one that I went to, I got 9 pounds of onions. I got 9 pounds of apples. The apples, I sat here and peeled, cored, and diced apples Monday for, good heavens, an hour. I wound up with 6 pints of amazing apple butter, and I did
Nice.
it in my pressure canner. And I processed it in my pressure canner, because even jams and jellies only process for 10 minutes in there. And I honestly thought, you don't pressure can fruits or jellies or anything like that. Yeah, you can. It's just for a really short amount of time. And they have all turned out beautifully. I've still got a 3-pound bag of the apples, but they are those Honey Crisp, and some of them were bordering on being green. They're absolutely delicious. I can eat them raw, and that's fine. But when my friend offered me this chicken the other night, I was like, heck yeah, I'll take it. And her brother, or her nephew, goes to another food pantry, and every week he gets this 10-pound bag of leg quarters. And she said, do you want some? Yes, please.
Wow.
So I'm just like, heck yeah, I'll can them. And it'll keep longer than it would in the freezer. If it's canned in a jar, I don't have to worry about a freezer burning. And it's a pint of chicken, literally, it's packed in there tight enough that I can open that pint of chicken, and when my daughter and her 3 oldest kids, the baby still isn't eating the solid food yet, but I can feed all of us with that pint of chicken, make homemade noodles and a pot of mashed potatoes, and I got a meal. Very quickly done.
Yes.
And but I found one of the old ball canning books. That's this one. That's the home preserving stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. And I used, when my mom was alive, well, of course, in 1979, I started canning with a big pressure canner. I had a gas stove, and I canned for years. I learned how to can everything. I did all vegetable. I did pickles, relishes, fruits. I did meat, because my husband was a hunter. And of course, he had a brother that not only raised cattle, he also had hogs. So they would split with us. And I just learned how to do that. I think the only thing I have never tried to can was fish. And I don't want to even try to can fish. If I'm going to eat fish, I want it fresh.
The one thing that a lot of people don't think about fish is, you look at a fish pan that you're seeing, they're narrow at the bottom and wide at the top. There is a very good reason for that. So if you're going to can fish, you need to make sure that you buy one of those jars that are more narrow at the bottom and wider at the top. And those jars are not easy to find.
No, about the only ones that I have found is the old wide mouth pint jars.
Yes.
Now they make them with straight sides, but the old ones had a little bit of an angle to it.
Yes. I don't know what the reason is, but they have to be angled,
Yeah. And I actually still have one of those. It can't be used for canning. It was my mom's, and it's got a little tiny nick up on the rim where the seal would be.
Yeah.
I use it to store stuff in the refrigerator in a hurry. And when I have leftover soup and I don't have very much, I don't want to freeze it. I can put it in there and get it good and cold. I have frozen stuff in that jar and then dump it out. And I've got a vacuum sealer and I just put it in one of the vacuum bags and seal it up. It's all taken care of. And
That's
but
what
I
I need
love
though,
those
is a
little
vacuum
jars.
sealer. That's what I need, is a
But
vacuum sealer.
I have a
yeah.
this when we were having tick issues, this has got a crack in it. And what I ended up doing was putting rubbing alcohol in here
Mm-hmm.
in this little jar. So when we see the chip in here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use some silicone because as you see how this is getting down now. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's what I use this little jar for, is at least it's used for something.
Yeah. When I was in the store day before yesterday, I looked at the prices on the jars. The pint jars and the quart jars have each gone down by $2 a dozen. Those little kids of jelly jars like you've got are almost as expensive as the pint jars. And I'm
Yes.
thinking, good grief, this is a half a cup of stuff. This is ridiculous.
Mhm.
The thing
But-
where I found those, I sent them to Jesse and Lisa.
Mhm.
I found them at the Habitat resale store for 25 cents a piece
Oh, wow.
and 50 cents a piece.
Oh,
And I shipped them to them.
I have 4 thrift stores that are real close to me. And I have looked in every one of them because I thought, even if I can find some of the older jars, even if they have a chip in them, I can use them for storage. But even the price on them is ridiculous anymore. The last one that I was at, the store is just a few blocks away from me. And a pint jar, the rim was really rough on it, and they were still asking $3 for it. But it's because it was one of the old amber colored jars.
Oh wow.
Do you know how many years it's been since they made an amber colored jar?
Oh yeah.
I was very
Long time.
tempted to buy it, but then when I undid the seal fully, the bands on it, the screw bands, all had cracks in them, and I thought that's not going to last any time at all. So I wasn't even willing to lay out the $3 for it. I have seen quart-sized jars that are in perfect condition, could be used for canning, $5 a piece in a thrift store, and I'm like, no, if I add another $11 to that, I can buy a whole dozen. No, I'm not doing that.
I'll be
Mhm.
back. I'm gonna go get a jar.
That's crazy.
All right.
Okay.
I'm right back too. I just got to use the ladies' room.
So I added a can of corn and sauteed that with the chicken.
Mm-hmm.
And then I left some in there because I'm going to show you what I'm all right, so I left some in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then where's my milk? Well, I can get the unflavored milk
Uh-huh.
without vanilla and unsweetened. And they don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought I had some in there. I'm gonna go get some. But I'm gonna pour some milk in here, and then you still use it on the saute because I don't want to use a slow cook, and then try and make a soup type
Mm-hmm.
milk-based soup. Because I mean, you could use water, but I like using my almond milk instead.
Yeah.
And then that
Well,
way,
now, Nancy, can you? Oh, that's pretty, Rebekah.
well, look at
That's
that.
an old Atlas jar.
This is an old Atlas blue jar.
Oh.
What I have in here is grits.
Uh-huh.
I do have the zinc lids, but I did not use it on this. And then look at
Mhm.
this one. This is one my sister pressure.
Oh
Vacuum.
my goodness.
Vacuum sealed this one. This is,
Oh,
it's
that is neat. I want to get one of those vacuum sealers to use on the jar lids that I don't have to put it in my pressure canner. And just so that I can
I know that
do these
I know
dry
that
beans
Ann
better.
I know that Ann Dale has one that fits over the jar that she used. I
Mhm.
have the vacuum sealing bags that has the thing that you can put on there that has a hose to it. I want to get the one
Mhm.
that goes with that vacuum sealing thing that I can do some vacuuming of different dried things that I have.
Mhm. Well, see,
But
when I got my vacuum sealer, um, and I can't think of the name of the silly thing. Like everything else I bought for my kitchen, it came from QVC, because they had some really awesome deals for a while. And mine has the attachment that has that little hose thing that goes with it. I've never had any luck with it, so I didn't use it. But doing the bags for the freezer and even for my dry beans and my rice, you put those, drop them in your freezer for 4 or 5 days, then get them out. And your dry beans, I've had some people recommend that then you spread them on a flat baking sheet and put it in the oven at 200 degrees for about an hour. That kills any other organism that survived the cold. Then you can pack them in the vacuum seal bags and they will keep forever practically. And
wow.
I have just taken the beans, sorted them out, and put them in some of the vacuum seal bags. And if I need to, if it gets to a point where we have to depend on a barter system, I got dry beans and rice I can play with. And now I have my own soup bean mix that I made up because I can't have lentils. I have rheumatoid arthritis, and lentils and ooh, yummy.
Yummy.
Oh, I love sweet peas. They're bad for my blood sugar, but some days I just say, forget it, I'm eating them. And I'm not a diabetic. I just need to be watching it. And but the lentils and organ meats of any kind will exacerbate pain if you have rheumatoid arthritis. There's an amino acid in it that really causes a lot of pain. And yes, I love lentils, but it's not worth the pain that I wind up in. So I just make my own soup bean mix. And I actually bought a bag of dried peas to put in it. I've made them up. I just cook them on top of the stove, and they have turned out beautifully. And I have shared it with my youngest daughter, and because she and her husband and her 2 middle kids, they love beans. Her oldest child, of course, the baby can't have them. I told her, I said, you need to mash those up really, really fine. I said, you have a food process, a little blender thing that you can use. And I said, blend those up with a little bit of his formula or even with a little bit of water and let him try them.
Oh yeah.
I said he loves mashed potatoes and mashed carrots.
When my sister had her 3rd child, she never ate baby food. She blended up what she had from the table and gave that child instead. Instead of buying the baby food.
Yeah. Oh, baby food anymore is ridiculously priced.
Oh yes,
and
it is.
I don't. Rachel said the other day, she said, I'm going to be so glad when Colton is completely off of formula. But if they give him milk, that baby gets constipated so bad that then he winds up sick. And I'm like, Rachel, maybe you need to cut the milk, maybe add a little more water to it. Get him started on, instead of mixing all formula, start mixing it half and half, because those big containers of formula are $50 a piece. And she said, I can't afford it. And I told her, I said, start mixing it half and half. I said, if nothing else, get you some goat's milk.
Yeah.
I'll bet you'll go on fine with it. And she said, Mom, I live in Columbia. Where am I going to find somebody with goat's milk? I said, honey, you can buy goat's milk in the
Amish?
grocery store. It's powdered. And
But also the Amish community that's up north. I know
Really?
somebody that, yes,
I will tell her that.
yes, tell her. And
Clark.
in Clark, Missouri, there is a place that you can get goat's milk from.
Okay.
And I know
I will
exactly,
tell her
you know,
that.
if you give her my information. I
Okay.
gave you my number, right? Give her my information and I'll show her.
Yes, I
I'll
need to
show
call
her
you.
where she can get goat's milk. I will.
Okay.
Certainly
Okay.
will. You know? Because when I
Okay.
was rescuing some kittens, I was doing that KMR milk that I was
Yeah.
trying to save these kittens. They
Mhm.
ended up starting getting constipated, and I talked to somebody else, and I got goat milk, literally
Mhm.
goat milk, and all five of those kittens lived because I switched from that KMR that the vets were saying to
Mhm.
goat milk, and those babies started doing better.
Mhm.
You know, So yes, I do know where she can get goat milk.
Mhm. I know when my husband and I raised bison for a while, that was a trip. We had 2 babies that their mamas died. And of course, the babies had been nursing long enough that they had a good start. But the babies are called red dogs. We wound up with 2 that we were going to have to feed by hand. So we got them separated out. And of course, the first thing I thought of was, we're going to have to buy milk replacer. And we had a guy not very far from us, Dan Shepherd, down there at Shepherd's Farm. And Dan, he was in the buffalo business for a long time. And so we happened to be down there one day, and I said, Janet, what would you suggest? I said, we've got a couple of little red dogs. We're going to have to bottle feed them. And she said, don't give them that milk replacer crap. She said, go get you the powdered goat's milk. She told me where I could get it. Luckily, our MFA there in Macon carried it. We bought a 25-pound bag of it. Neither one of those babies would take it from a nipple. We poured it in a bucket and they drank it out of the bucket just fine. And they thrived.
Wow.
They did beautifully on it. The only difference in what you buy at someplace like MFA and what you buy in the grocery store, what's in the grocery store is under more restrictions as far as purity is concerned.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think in an emergency, it's goat's milk.
The last time I was up there, it is $7 a gallon. It is expensive.
Well, you know, that's really not too. You know what, though? If I cannot find the store brand of, now I drink skim milk. It's a personal choice. Plus, skim milk keeps longer because it doesn't have the fats that make milk sour. If I can't find the store brand of skim milk, the regular brand is $6.50 a gallon.
Wow.
You know, it's not that big of a stretch. And I know Rachel gets 2% for her kid, for her family. And I told her, I said, you know, have you thought about maybe skim milk for Colton? Maybe the regular milk has too much fat in it. Maybe that's what's causing the problem. And she said, the doctor says not to give skim milk to a baby because they need that dairy fat for their systems to continue to grow like they're supposed to. Now, it might be worth a try. If he could tolerate it better, I'd go for it.
I say
If
bologna
nothing
on cow's milk. What about the kids, the babies who are allergic to dairy, just like Anastasia?
Mm-hmm.
They can't have regular formula. They have to have the soy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why we use the almond milk.
Mm-hmm.
And then we didn't find out. I didn't find out her dad was lactose intolerant until he was 17.
Oh my goodness.
All these years, we couldn't figure out. I mean, poor kid. He could sit there at the bus stop and not even have breakfast, and just it'd be acid. It'd just come up.
Yeah.
And the muscle at the end of your esophagus to your stomach, your sphincter muscle, had not fully developed. And they would never do surgery on him to fix that. And I would ask why, and they wouldn't even answer me. So, but they knew that was a problem. So, he could have hot sauce and it wouldn't bother him, but if he ate pizza, it would come up. So we thought it was always the tomatoes products and everything. No, it was the dairy. Then when he was 17, and I apologized profusely to him for almost a year. Mom, it's okay, you didn't know. So when Anastasia was born, I said, if I'm not at the hospital and they come running in saying she's throwing out the formula, tell them to switch it to soy because she's allergic to dairy. And that's exactly what happened.
And you know, Nancy, I'll bet, I would be willing to bet you money that in later years, you will find out that Anastasia is allergic to soy. That's what they found with me. I had to have soy milk as a baby because I was allergic to dairy. They found out when I was pregnant with my first child. I was 29 years old. And no matter what I ate, I was getting sick. And so the doctor sent me for allergy testing. Come find out, I'm allergic to soy. I asked my mom about it. I was telling mom about it. And she said, honey, she said, we suspected that for years, but anytime that they did allergy testing on you, it never came back. You never reacted to soy. I said, well, boy, I am now. So yeah, I am that crazy old lady who stands in the grocery store with the can, reading all the labels. And I've had people say, can't you move along? Well, no, because I'm kind of attached to living. You know, and if I eat this other stuff, I'm not going to be doing that much longer. And you'd be amazed what they sneak soy into.
I was so shocked when I was. Hellman's used to not have soy oil in it. Hellman's did not have soy oil. I am now having to because the jars that I get are only 8 ounces, and it's avocado oil and other oils, and it's 8 ounces and it's expensive. So I've started making my own mayonnaise with coconut.
That's a good idea.
With coconut oil and olive oil mixed together. So I've started making my own mayonnaise.
When my daughter was
for the first time, I used duck egg. It was very interesting.
When my daughter was born,
go ahead, Des.
I was gonna say when my daughter, because you were talking about being little when you were throwing up, getting really sick and stuff from the formulas. When my daughter was born, she wouldn't take for the breast, and they didn't teach you at the hospital how to breastfeed properly. Unlike the midwives, who my cousin is, she teaches them how to breastfeed in different positions and how to get the baby to latch and everything. They didn't teach any of that for us when we were in the hospital. And no matter how hard I tried, it didn't work. So they put her on Prosobi. This Prosobi was around back then. This is like 36 years ago. You ever seen the movie Exorcist? Or heard about her so bad, the pea soup? You know, that was my daughter. She would just like, no matter what she had, it was Prosobi, then they switched the formula to this formula, switched it to another formula. So when I went to Germany, my mom is German, and I went to go see my grandmother, my aunts and uncles, and I wasn't raised with my mom. I went to see her after I delivered my baby. My baby was a month old. And when we went there, we took her to a German doctor to find out what's going on. And my mom ended up taking custody because of her insurance and everything. It was supposed to be temporary. But anyway, so they put her on a baby cereal, baby sugar, and a certain type of milk. And we had to boil it and strain it and cool it. I guess who, Nancy? And eventually she was able to take, she still spit up a little bit,
Yes, Nancy.
but it wasn't like everything she took was just like gone, so she was able to gain weight and stuff like that. And then they put her on medicine. Unlike here, everything is like in bottles, already pre-made, syrupy. There, it's like certain drops of a teaspoon of sugar, and then you give the kid that, and that's how they would take it. It was more natural than it was we have here. And she finally was able to get further along, and she wasn't able to hold herself up physically, like you put babies on their stomachs and they can push themselves up. Until she was like 7 months old. She couldn't hold herself up because she was so weak from everything, being what she went through. So yeah, it's like they don't understand. You put these babies on this stuff and it hurts them, It's like teach them, get some lactation consultants for those that want to breastfeed, and teach them properly how to breastfeed. Don't just say put the baby on the breast and leave the room, because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You got to teach them. You have to get the baby to open the mouth and go around and the whole bit and latch on, not just the nipple, and that's why you're tender. Maybe these babies will have better immune systems growing up, and then they need to find. They now have like a powdered breast milk or powdered milk for babies, for infants that are going through all the allergies and stuff like that, which is I wish they had when my kid was, a baby 36 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's scary. It was scary.
It is. It is. I know when my girls were born, I had made the decision long before Beck arrived that I was going to breastfeed. I was like, with all the allergies that I have, if I breastfeed her, maybe she will avoid that. Yeah. And I think Becky's allergic to maybe 3 things now. For me, it's easier to list what I'm not allergic to than what I am. And as a result, that was absolutely delicious. Yum.
And what I did and put more seasoning. I put a teaspoon of garlic, a teaspoon of onion powder, probably like a half a tablespoon of parsley, and then I got the oregano. I put a teaspoon of oregano in there, and then cooked it. Still had it on sear saute. Put it back to medium, bring to a boil, and let that cook for a few minutes while we were talking. Then put it back down to low, and just let that simmer for as long as you want to, and then you have your soup. You could use water. I just wanted to use the milk because I always try to use the you took cornstarch or flour and make a roux with it and everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes mine don't turn out, so I didn't do it.
That's what it was. My son made beef stew from scratch. When you just said that, I was trying to remember what he made recently, and he made beef stew from scratch when my daughter went to Texas because my daughter doesn't like stew and stuff. And he goes, yeah, I added wine. And I'm like, we have wine? I know we had it in the house. But I'm not a wine drinker. He found wine, and he put it in there, and he cooked it. And, oh, my gosh, it was the best beef stew ever. Like, he floured the meat. He did the cornstarch with it, the whole bit. I'm like, dang, dude, you can make beef stew anytime you want to, because that was amazing.
Oh, yes.
I got started making beef bourguignon, and I used Julia Child's recipe. It's beef stew meat, mushrooms, onions, carrots, and potatoes. Okay, that's a good base. But then, I mean, seriously, the first 3 ingredients listed is stew meat, red wine, and butter. I'm like, all right, this is going to be good stuff. And I make it every winter, sometimes 3 and 4 times in winter. And it is absolutely delicious. And I just love it. I don't always put, oh, stop, Nancy, you're making me hungry.
You're such a tease.
You're such a tease.
That is so good.
But
That works.
even, oh, good. Well, Nancy, can you use creamed soups?
No, we can make our own cream soup, which my daughter-in-law found a recipe for the green bean casserole, and they will not share that with me whatsoever.
Oh,
I know. I'm trying to get my
recipe.
Speaking of green beans, I'm trying to get my cousin to give me his green bean with blue cheese and bacon. Oh my
that
God.
sounds good.
It is so good. I'm like every year I'm like, can you make it? So I'm gonna contact him and ask him how much money he needs and have him make me some for Thanksgiving or Christmas because it is so it's expensive to make, he said. But I'm like, there's 3 of us. Make enough for 3 of us, you know? I want some. I want some.
At the farmer's market, I was able to pick up some dried mushrooms that they put in these canning jars that I will pull out a little bit of them and get them remoistured and make things.
I wish I
with
liked
them
mushrooms. I don't.
But they're dehydrated and they're in a jar.
Yeah, I'm not a mushroom fan.
Oh, I am.
Actually, I have to take that back. My stepmother got a certain cheese. It's like a soft cheese. It comes in the box and it's in the, I forget what it's called. But she used to get the mushroom caps. No. It's like a specialty cheese. Like if you go in the cheese section, it's I don't know if it starts with a B or something, but it's in a box and it's wrapped in a foil and it's a specialty. And there's different flavors.
Green?
Yes.
Green?
No, Kim got it.
Borzan.
Yeah. And she used to stuff that in the mushroom cap and bake it. And that was the only time I ever liked mushrooms. And then an old boyfriend of mine, he used to be a chef, and he marinated them, or I forget how he cooked them, and I loved them. And after that, I haven't had mushrooms that I've liked yet since. Those 2 times, that's it. There's something about mushrooms I just don't like.
Here in Missouri, they have literally a mushroom season, and it's when the morels start popping out. My husband used to go mushroom hunting, and he had a spot that he would come home with 1 gallon to 2 gallons of fresh mushrooms. And of course, they're down on the ground. You're going to have those little teeny tiny black bugs. And so I called my sister-in-law and I said, how do I clean these mushrooms so we can eat them? Because I'm not fond of eating bugs.
Yeah.
And she said, put cold water. And she said, it's got to be cold. And she said, your best bet, she said, run some cold water in a container, put some ice in it, let it get super cold. She's put a tablespoon or 2 of vinegar in it. She said, then plunge the mushrooms in it, hold them for maybe 15 to 30 seconds, then get them out, rinse them off, dry them. And she said, then they're safe to use. I said, really? She said, yeah. She said, the vinegar pulls the bugs out.
Yeah.
I said, oh.
Yeah, there's somebody I follow that does all over fruit.
And there was a lot of times that I would have mushrooms frozen in my freezer. What I did was I froze them on a flat cookie sheet and then put them in gallon-sized bags. And I got to digging through my freezer one day, and my husband came in. He said, what are you doing? I said, I'm looking in the freezer just to see what we have. I said, do you know there is stuff buried down in here that I have wondered for the last few months, where did that go? Yeah, it got buried.
Yeah.
And he said, he picked up a bag of the mushrooms. He said, we have mushrooms? I said, yeah, there's actually 5 gallons of them down here. He said, guess what we're having for supper tonight? Well, the only way that he would eat them was for me to thaw them partially, I'd dredge them in flour, dip them in egg and buttermilk, and get them back in the flour, and then deep fry them. That was the only way he would eat them.
Wow.
And we love them fixed that way. I even like to buy the button mushrooms in the grocery store and fix them that way.
Yeah.
I
Cream
like
of
'em.
mushroom soup, if you like cream of mushroom soup.
We get a lot of baby morel, not morels, but that's what I had in my head was portobellos, baby portobellos,
Yeah.
and big portobello mushrooms from our pantry. They're
Ooh.
so good,
Our food pantry doesn't have anything like you all have.
so nice.
I don't even bother going. I just wait for the radio station now to say, free turkeys, come to this place. And we all drive up and we get free turkey and a bag of food and that's the radio stations doing it, not even the pantries. You know what I mean? So it's like, I wait for that for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Plus I buy one just in case, you know.
Definitely.
Hy-Vee is doing their deal again this year of if you buy the ham, it's the Hormel Cure 81 ham. You buy the ham and you get a 14-pound bird for free.
Wow.
So, or, well, they say a 12 to 15-pound bird. I dig until I find the smallest ham, and then I get the biggest bird.
Yep.
And it works out. Last year, by the time I figured out the cost involved, I got a $43 ham for $22.
Yeah.
Because of the cost of the turkey. It worked out fine.
Yeah, we don't have that here
I
either.
actually still have a couple of slices of that ham in my freezer. And so, yeah, in the next couple of weeks, that ham is going to go in a big pot of beans.
Yeah, I have a small
get
ham
it
that I got last year after sale. So I have a small one about this big. So that I'm saving that for something. I don't know yet, but I think I want to try to make a soup or a 15 bean soup or something with part of it. That'd be kind of cool to have. My daughter won't eat it, but my son and I will.
Yeah. I know the big Walmart store down here by me. It's over. We have a big Sam's store, and it's right next door. I think there's a PetSmart in between the two of them, but they will run the fresh turkey breast after Thanksgiving. They will have a bunch of them. They will mark those things down to $4 a piece.
That's where Sam's or Walmart.
The local Walmart.
I'll pay attention to that.
So, yeah, I go in and they have had to limit them. And the one that is the closest to me is my Walmart neighborhood market. That's where I originally found it. Well, I picked up the last two that they had. The lady said, oh, I feel like I need to leave one here. She said, please don't. She said, just take them both so I have my storage space back. I said, you have a deal. And so she said, do you know of anybody who would like some more? I said, sure. She said, and she told me which Walmart to go to. I went out there and I bought 3 more, brought them home, and my daughter and her husband were going to be here that weekend. So I had them in the freezer. So I said, here, take this home with you. She said, Mom, that's a lot of money. I said, honey, I paid $4 for it because it was fresh. They needed to get them out of the store. Take it home and use it.
That's what our favorite part of the turkey is.
And she actually fixed it in her big pressure cooker, that's like the Instapot. She put it in there and she said, Mom, you wouldn't believe how good those turn out. And I went, yeah, I know how good they turn out. That's how I fixed one. And just, the flavor gets so much more concentrated in those big pots like that. I love them. My only issue is that I live alone. So I've managed to cut a lot of my recipes down. My chili, my potato soup, and my vegetable soup, I haven't cut down. So when I make those, I've got 2 or 3 neighbors. I'm like, I'm making this. Would you like some? I will gladly share.
Oh, I need to move that to woman. I'll take some of the potato soup in a heartbeat. I want some good potato soup and some good corn chowder. Those are like my 2 favorites, and I haven't had those in years. Both. Yeah, those are my favorites.
In fact, I make my own corn chowder. I got to look at recipes and stuff, and some of them were they were just downright complicated. And I'm like, it's chowder, for crying out loud. Why do you have 33 steps in this?
Yeah.
And so I just took the basic ingredients and started playing with them. And I came up with my own corn chowder, and it's really good. And
Okay,
I
you can
shared
send
it with
me
a couple of
that
neighbors.
recipe too.
Sure. Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I want
And
I
I'll
want some
send
good
you
corn
my
chowder.
potato soup recipe. And do you ever bake bread?
My son has tried, but it came out hard. See, I can't go in the kitchen because
Oh.
my walker and my wheelchair don't fit in my galley kitchen.
Yeah.
So I can't cook anymore. So he
No.
does a lot of the cooking.
Well, I developed my own bread recipe when, well, it's been 31 years ago because I was pregnant with my youngest daughter. And she would shoot me if she knew how that I'd ever told her age. Heaven forbid anybody know how old she is. But I craved mashed potatoes. Well, I hate throwing anything out. And I'm like, okay, that water from those potatoes has a lot of vitamins and stuff in it. What can I use this in? And I started looking at bread recipes because I love to bake bread. You can take out your anxieties and your anger on that bread dough, and it makes the best bread when you just beat the daylights out of it. And so, my husband used to come in the kitchen, and if he knew I was mixing up bread, he would pick an argument. I looked at him one day, I said, why do you do this? He said, Ma, you're baking bread. It always turns out better when you're mad. I'm like, excuse me? He said, you beat the hell out of the bread when you're mad, and it turns out better. I'm like, okay. I can just start throwing the dough. Get out of the kitchen before I throw it at you. It worked.
I want you on a Hallmark movie. I'm telling you. All those women in the kitchen cooking. I want you in the Hallmark kitchen. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll be sitting there watching everything.
But I developed a recipe. Unfortunately, it makes 5 big loaves of bread. It does not turn out, yes, the day that it's baked, it's soft and wonderful. The next day, it is going to firm up because I don't use dough conditioners.
Right.
But it makes the most wonderful toast, French toast, baguette, Texas toast, croutons. It will freeze well, but you got to be careful with it because it will dry out if you keep it frozen for more than a couple of months, because I don't put dough conditioners in it. Most dough conditioners are made with artificial ingredients. They have soy, and there's chemicals in it that I'm like, if I can't pronounce it, I probably shouldn't be consuming it. And so, but yeah, that's a recipe that I will share. I don't mind it.
I go to the farmer's market and I get.
Ooh, yum.
Oh, that looks good.
As you can see, they're longer loaves, and they're $8 because I'm not going next week. I bought 3 loaves of this bread.
Oh, that will last me 1 week in this house. If that, maybe 3 days.
It is like, oh my gosh, this bread is so good. And of course I have to slice it myself, but it is so good, you know?
Yeah, we love bread. Like we would go to Whole Foods. They stopped making, but they used to make like olive bread, like an olives would be in it. And it was, I forgot what it was called, but it was so good. And it was the only place that made them. And then they stopped making them, so I stopped going to the Whole Foods. It's like I only went in there just for the bread because everything else is too expensive. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, olive
Des, I have a recipe for olive bread.
Nice.
So what I got with my chicken, I'm gonna show you what I got my chicken. So this is probably like 1 chicken all cut up.
Yep.
So I got this to the side. Then I sauteed the chicken and the corn. So I kind of shred that up and everything. And you could probably put that like on a tortilla shell, taco shell, and put like make your tacos with that and everything.
Yeah.
And then I made the soup. So I
Yeah,
I tell
that's
you
for a
what,
bunch of meals.
one bird will make a lot of meals.
and I
Yeah, we
can't
got. Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I say one bird because we don't eat dark meat in our house, but we went to I went and joined Costco, and we went and got the rotisserie chicken for like $4.99, cooked and everything. So we brought it home. My son and I had a meal that night. Then we had something the next day. Then we took off the rest of the white meat and stuff, and we saved it for tacos when my daughter came home. So we had like fajita tacos or taco tacos. I don't know, one of those things. And we had that, and it was so good. It was like we got 3 meals off of one bird of chicken breast. Not, and then we threw away the wings and the legs and the thighs because none of us like dark meat. That's pretty bad, but yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what you said, turkey breast. I mean, I'm going to be hunting out for turkey breast because that's our big thing in our house.
Those turkey breasts, they're frozen. But I'm talking, one of them is that long and they're that thick.
Yeah.
And know, bigger than a fist. And so and that they get those from a butcher shop. They go to and so in Polaris, but up north from Columbus. But they go there because they get the best deals with that. I said, just put 2 aside for me, and I can make all kinds of meals with those because they're so big, and I can half it, or I can do thirds of it, and I still have that's 3 meals right there from one chicken breast. So but that was our thing today. We wanted to see how well from frozen to cook, how it worked in whether you have an Instapot or a Ninja. I mean, that turned out really, really well. So that is possible to do. So your pressure side does, you would cook it, you put the top on, make sure the little thing is, sealed. Let it come to pressure and then cook it. If it's frozen, I would cook 30 minutes. If it's fresh, probably 20 minutes. And I probably put too much water in there, but I wanted to make sure there was enough water in there.
Right.
If it's not done all the way, then you can take the sear saute, finish cooking it, and then add all kinds of other goodies in there that you like. You can even add, if you have rice from the day before, the next day, use that day old rice, throw that in there, throw some soy sauce, and you got your Chinese meal. And actually, I found out that like you get chicken fried rice from the Asian or Chinese place, restaurant, whatever, it's actually cooked rice from the day before. They use it the next day to make their fried rice. So it's like you just play with it. So many possibilities. So you want to cook? You let me know. We'll do another one like this, and we'll.
I like this. I want to talk to my son because I want to try it in the slow cook. I want to try it in the Instapot in the saute section, but I made it in, the Presto, the skillets, electric skillets. I have one of those I haven't used in a while, or I just threw it away. I can't remember, but I like making like a stir fry in there. So I'll buy like the mixed bag of vegetables with certain things in it. Then I'll buy some sugar snap peas, and I'll go to the Asian restaurant and I'll get the Chinese peas, and I'll do the chicken, and I'll add the teriyaki or the sweet and sour or whatever it is, and we'll do a stir fry that way. And sometimes I'll do beef instead of the chicken, but my daughter likes the chicken because it's tender than the beef, unless I cook it for a long time in a slow cook or something like that. But so yeah, I want to try that in here instead of that, because this will be easier to clean than that.
Yeah.
Take the thing out.
Yeah.
I used to get it's in a can with those little mini corns that it comes in the can. It was like, we used to take it and eat just like it was a corn on the cob. It's like they're so.
But they have a stir fry in the big clear bags at Walmart or whatever. I don't know if it's the store brand or a different brand, and they'll have them with the mini corn. So I'll get that as well. And sometimes I'll have the mushroom one. So I'll get the mushroom one. I'll pick out the mushrooms and give them to my kids because they like the mushrooms.
Right.
So, but I'll get all the other vegetables that's with it, and I'll add like extra broccoli and the extra because I like a lot of vegetable. And then we'll use the rice cooker for the rice. So I
Mhm.
get the Uncle Ben's rice, and I don't have to do any washing and all that kind of stuff. I just throw it all in the rice cooker with the water, turn it on, and I'm good to go. So I think I want to do that. I want to try to saute in here and do that stir fry because that'll be fun to do.
Mhm.
So
Exactly. And one thing I like about we call them all these kitchen gadgets is that yeah, it uses electricity, but it's not as much as you open up their oven and baking in your oven and cooking on
Yeah.
the stove top and everything.
Mhm.
Because that heats up your house. Well, I mean,
yeah,
when it's 20 degrees below zero, that's a different story.
yeah. Wintertime was great. Summertime, not so much. I'm gonna have to find out. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, that's why
I
I
hope
like
the turkeys go down. I'm looking at Aldi's flyer right now. It says it's $1.27 a pound for frozen turkey breast of Butterball. I hope it goes down some more because the frozen's usually cheaper than the fresh.
hmm
Yeah.
But
give
we're
it
so
a couple of weeks. They'll
I
have
know,
that.
but we're so
Thanksgiving.
close. So Dad's sending me a birthday card. He knows that I want a gift card to either Walmart or Amazon. So he goes, I'm sending you extra money so that you guys can have a good Thanksgiving. Because he's not going to be able to come for Thanksgiving and possibly Christmas. So he's like, I'm going to send you some extra money in there besides your birthday money so you guys can have a good Thanksgiving. I was like, oh, Dad.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
sweet.
That's nice.
Yeah, I love my dad. I just can't believe I'm going to be 60. I go, my body, everybody asks me, so how does it feel to be turning 60? I go, well, my body's 105, but my mind's in my 20s, in my early 20s. So I don't know.
Exactly. I know, because that's what I feel. My body says, no, you're something else. And I keep thinking, no, I'm like 30, 32. I'm still good to go. I can still do this, and this. And I go do this, and this. And it's like, yeah, I can't
Yeah,
do
your
that.
body mind, you can't do this, or this. Your mind plays tricks on you.
With me, it's a case of my mind. Yeah, I'll wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, I have energy. I can do this. And my body, I stand up and my body says, do it and die, fat girl. And so I'm just like, I probably better listen to the body. Kitchen gadgets. A few years ago, I got me one of those new wave ovens. It sits on a counter because my mom and I lived together. I took care of her for 13 years. And it was a hassle to she would get cravings, and it was usually something baked. And it was a hassle sometimes to have to start that big oven in the apartment for one baked potato. So I thought, this new wave oven is going to help a lot. And it has. They are wonderful because I can set it in here on my dining room table. The apartment I live in now has very little counter space in the kitchen, which I don't really mind. I mean, like I said, I live by myself.
Yeah.
I don't need that much. But this new wave oven, they do take up some real estate, let me tell you. But it's wonderful. I have baked cookies in it. I've baked cakes. I haven't done any bread in it because of the way that the bread rises in the oven. And I'm like, yeah, I really want to do that. But I have baked steaks in it. I have baked small, like the individual pizzas, baked potatoes in it, or roasted potatoes and roasted vegetables. Oh my gosh, they are delicious.
Yeah.
And for right now, I have it put away because I know that next Friday, my youngest daughter and her 4 kids are going to be here. We are going to a food bank about 12 miles away from us. And so, yeah, I can't have stuff like that sitting on my table. My dining table is, and this is without the leaf in it, it's solid wood. It is 6 feet long and 4 feet wide. Wow. I bought it at Nebraska Furniture Mart in 2010. I had sold my home. I bought myself all new furniture. I no longer had a husband telling me I don't like that color. You're not going to get that. I did my own thing. I am earth tones. I love earth tones, especially fall.
That's my
He didn't
colors.
like that. He did anything that was brown or gray. It's like, ew, that's gross. I'm like, oh, shut up. All you're seeing marine green. Get over it. Refocus your eyeballs there. And so, yeah, in the house that we built, I had a lot of colors. Sometimes it was annoying to deal with that because there were times that it was just a little too busy.
Yeah, too much on the eyes.
Yeah, but you know, I'm a quilter, and a quilt doesn't affect me like that.
Yeah.
Quilts, I love working on. I have
Yeah,
a ball with
living
them.
in your environment is different. It's like your downtime. It's like you see those two chairs. I have a burgundy red and a burnt orange, and then I have a mustardy yellow throw pillows. I don't have a couch.
Yeah.
This is my living room. So that's my chair. 2 dining room chairs, drop leaf table over here, and then you can see a chair there, and I have a chair on the other side. That's it. And then I have a coffee table that sits up against where my TV is, entertainment area. But I like the earth tones. I like the colors of fall, the burnt oranges and the rust, and the warm, like you feel like you're being snuggled all the time. That warm feeling. Yeah, I'm so with you, Kim.
Even though I've got the earth tones, I use the brighter jewel tones to accent. So my accent pillows on my sofa, one of them has this great big bright yellow bumblebee on it that is surrounded by red and white roses. The other one it's a white, but it has this bright turquoise and lemon yellow bicycle. With the bicycle is the turquoise, and the yellow is in a bouquet of yellow daisies that's in the basket of the bicycle. Those are my accent colors.
Yeah.
Christmas comes along. I had a friend give me a bunch of Crown Royal bags. I have the purple and the green, and it's the big bags. I'm making a Christmas tree skirt out of those Crown Royal bags.
That's awesome.
I found Mardi Gras beads of all things in the purple, the green, the gold. And I found them at dollar store, and they just stick together with a little tiny plastic tube. So that's going to be my garland. I have an antique silver aluminum Christmas tree.
Oh, that's cool.
My dad bought it for me in 1961. And I still have it. It's in the original box, in the original tubes, and I have all the original branches. Mine is a rarity. The year those were made, it's only 4 feet tall. There was a limited number that made it out of the factory that had a bare wood trunk. Mine and 3 others are the only ones that are known to be in existence.
That's a rarity. Can you imagine
so
a collector? Yeah.
Yeah. But my youngest daughter has already said, nah, that tree's mine.
She's claiming
when you're done with it, Mom, it's mine. And it's one, I can't put lights on it because it is real aluminum.
Yeah.
And that's just fire hazard waiting to happen. So what's left of those Crown Royal bags, I'm going to make little Christmas ornaments for that tree. That's going to be my decorations if I get them done. But I have a set of antique decorations, and I can say that because I myself am an antique now. And they were ornaments that my mom put on my Christmas tree when I was 1 and 2 years old, and I still have them.
I just love your comment. I'm an antique now.
Well, hey, grandmas are antique little girls. That's the truth.
You're vintage. You're not antique.
Well, and see, growing older that's mandatory.
Yeah.
Growing up is an option. And I am exercising all of my options at this point.
I don't blame you.
My
Oh,
oldest
my.
daughter, when I go to clowning around with her kids, she will look at me and she'll say, "Seriously, Mom, how old are you?"
Yeah.
68, but today my mind is only 12. So
That's
there.
right. Yeah, I just ordered a new tree skirt from Hobby Lobby because I had the red and black buffalo plaid, the buffalo check.
Ooh. Mhm.
I have that, and I'm putting it away because I don't want it anymore. But on the other side, it's white with a black trim that says "Believe." So I'm gonna put that away and send me your address, Kim, and I'll put it in a bag for you. And then you're welcome. And then I bought a new one coming. It's green tartan with a little red and blue in it with the frilly edge. That's going to be under my tree, but my whole tree is like woodland. It's got mushrooms and deers and cardinals. Where's my cardinal?
Awesome.
I just got a new cardinal. It's got snowflakes. It's got a little church. It's got a little schoolhouse. I'm putting these on it. This has got a bunny rabbit. It's like a little.
Oh, how cute.
And then this one has got a deer in it.
Oh,
That's so adorable.
Yeah, it's like a little
those
terrarium
are
almost.
neat.
And then this is going on. I have a few cardinals that clip on, and I always try to get new, like 1 or 2 ornaments. I got like 12 totes of Christmas. Okay, forget 12 days of Christmas. I've got 12 totes of Christmas. But
Well, there you go.
yeah. So this is my cardinal that I'm adding to the tree this year.
Oh, cool.
Funny.
And then
Oh,
the
wow.
back of him. So yeah, so
That
he's
is
heavy,
neat.
but he's going on my tree because the tree back here, this is all gnomes. All that right there is all gnomes.
Oh, how cute.
And then I have
I
one in
love
my
gnomes.
bedroom. I have one in my bedroom about this big, and it's got like beaded ornaments and stuff like that. And this is going. Where did that one go? Oh, this is going back there too with my other ornament, with my other.
Oh, oh, they are adorable.
Where's that last ornament? Where'd it go? I have a little gnome ornament, not that one.
Hi, Molly.
Oh no, that's not it.
Hi, Molly.
I can't find it. I have a gnome ornament and I can't find them. That's felt. I think my daughter might have taken them to the tree. Hey Molly. Yeah, it looks like Freedom Redbird, right? Looks like Brenda's this is her logo is
Yeah.
I have a little felt one and I have beaded felt ones that I got from World Market and other places over the years, and my tree is about this big and it's got the little white battery operated fairy lights on it. So I put that in my bedroom, and that's my boho room. This is like my cottage rustic this part, but that's my boho room. That's my hip, but without the tie dye. So I have that up on my shelf, and I'm gonna bring it out one of these days and show you all because it's really cute. It's got hummingbirds, a butterfly, a snail, a peacock, a parrot, and it's all just on this little tree. And it's like simple with the little fairy lights, and then the colors of the ornaments is what is enhanced on the. It's beautiful, and it's like so opposite of me, but yeah. So I'm excited. 12 totes and about how many bags do I have? See, I wish y'all lived nearby and you guys like buffalo plaid because I have like those fluffy, warm, white on one side, buffalo plaid on the other, and it's like soft and silky. And I have like blankets like that sitting in bags in my closet and pillows.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because I'm going out of the buffalo plaid, except for the little bit I have on my tree. I'm getting rid of the buffalo plaid. So I'm sticking with like the regular plaid. I wish I don't see the ribbon, but I'm sticking with like the green and the green and blue red plaid, or the red, predominantly red with the other plaid. Those are going to be my colors for my trees with the woodland creatures and the cottage and country ornaments. All that's going to be on my tree. So yeah, I'm like I can't wait. But yeah, send me your address and I will send you that tree skirt.
I will. I will. I know every year, and this is something I started when my girls were little. I started making Christmas tree ornaments. For the last 15 years, I have gone into Hobby Lobby and bought the unfinished porcelain ornaments.
Yeah.
And I have painted them every year for each of my grandchildren.
Oh, that's sweet.
My oldest grandson has a set now of 17. His brother has 16 of them. Their mother, I forget how many she has. And of course, Rachel's 4 kids, I have done ornaments for each of them. This will be Colton's first year of getting one. And their first ornament that I do is always an angel. And I put their name, their birth date, and then the year of the Christmas that it is made with the words First Christmas. And I've told their mothers, you hang on to these because they really are not replaceable.
Yeah.
The design, the ornament itself, yeah, you can buy those at Hobby Lobby. But my painting, that's a limited edition, kids. Hang on to it.
Yeah.
And so I've got to get started on those here before very long.
Yeah.
But it's something I enjoy doing. And
There you
last year, I had just come out of a very serious surgery a year ago. And in fact, a year ago today was the first time that I had been completely alone in my home since the 1st of November. And
wow.
They came close to losing me 3 times, twice on the operating table. And at one point, my heart had actually stopped and they reached for those paddles, but before they could touch me, my heart started and it was perfectly normal. The doctor said, you know, most people, when their heart stops, it takes it a while to come up to normal rhythm. Mine didn't. It was immediate. And she said, that was so unusual. And I said, Doc, I told you, you weren't the only one in charge in that operating room. And she said, boy, don't I know it. And and then they about lost me the 3rd time in the recovery room because I had lost so much blood. So when I came home, I had to have somebody here with me.
Yeah.
And I am still, my body is still recovering.
Mm-hmm.
I have been told that I could be looking at this for a couple more years. And I'm like, nah. But my body is telling me, don't argue, just listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm viewing it. This was God's way of telling me that I needed to slow down. I needed to take care of me.
Yeah.
Because for over 60 years, I had been taking care of everybody else.
It's everybody else, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a cardiologist and a surgeon and my primary care all telling me, you've got to stop. You got to take care of you. Let everybody else do their own thing. Yes, you've been a mom. You've been a good daughter. You have done this. You've done that. Stop.
Yeah,
Release from take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I am. I'm trying very hard. The thing that is aggravating as all get out, and I'm sure that you guys understand it. No matter what I eat, no matter how little I eat, I'm gaining weight.
Mm-hmm.
And they're telling me there's nothing wrong with your thyroid.
Yeah.
No, it's producing like it's supposed to. My cells aren't absorbing it. And they ain't figured out a fix for that.
Yeah.
So there's not one thing they can do.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
go ahead.
well, at least when I get to heaven, I'm going to be perfect.
That's right.
And I have already told God that when I get there, I want to be a perfect size 5, and I'm not talking shoes. So,
I found my gnome, by the way. Here's my little gnome.
It's all good.
Oh,
Oh, he's adorable.
You wanna
But
see
he's
what
thin.
I'm working on?
I got him at Target.
Yes, Rebekah.
So
That is beautiful. What are you making?
I'm making a dish towel.
Ooh,
So
that's a I like those colors. I love them.
what she's making me.
ooh. Now, is that the
I have that
coffee
whole ball. I'll have that whole ball to make this dish towel. I made
Yeah, she's
two
making
pot
me
holders.
a wrap blanket.
I made 2 pot holders, 1 dishcloth, and now I'm
Mhm.
making a dish towel out of this.
Yeah, how's my birthday present coming along?
I haven't been working on it.
She hasn't been working on my birthday present. I know because I've been watching her. She's working on everything else. And I said, because she said she was making me, I didn't ask her. She said she was making me a lap blanket. And for my, if I go out in my wheelchair in the wintertime, I
Well,
go sit outside on the bench. And she's like, yeah, I want to make you one. And I go, okay, no problem, great. And then I see her
working on this.
She's secretly working on it. She's going to
doing,
get a prize.
well, she's doing like six different things at once. I'm like, how does she do it? Aw, Molly's sending me something for my birthday too. I didn't have time with my birthday other than my friend who said open it up in our video chat. I'm gonna open it for everybody else on the 24-hour live. I'm gonna open up Molly's on my 24-hour live too.
And the one that I've sent you, I'm not saying what it is, but it's something that I bought at Dollar Tree for her kitchen.
Yeah,
that's all I'm gonna say.
Dollar Tree has got some awesome kitchen stuff.
Yeah,
oh, they do.
I like the craft section. I have a Dollar Tree store in my room of all craft supplies. So if anybody wants you want to see me open, I'll make sure I open it with you there, Molly. I'm going from 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday the 12th, which is 7 Central, up until the next morning. So I'll make sure I look for you before I open it. But if you ever want to go to the Dollar Tree store and just go to the craft section, come to my house because I have those cube shelves. I have six and let's see, 9, 6, and 6. I mean, a 9. I have 18, 24, and then I have another shelf that's got to be built. So I have about 30 cubbies of Dollar Tree stuff, and it's all craft stuff. Do
my
I
goodness.
do anything with it? Nope. I look at the stuff and I look at everybody's crafting on, when I go YouTube, and I'm like, oh, I think I can do that. And I get the stuff and I put it in front of me. I'm like, oh, I can't do that. I have that and a rolling cart full of supplies.
It just all takes time. As creator's choice, you put it together the way you feel like you want to put it together. And
I've had this stuff for 4 years sitting in there. And every time I go to the Dollar Tree, I'm buying something else.
Hey, that's like me. That's what what you do. Everybody does.
It's bad. It's bad. It's overtaking my bedroom. It's bad. I mean, I'm a small townhouse. I can't even put a shed out back and there's no backyard. She already cooked, Stacey. You missed it. Tell Stacey what you made.
Okay. So I took the chicken. We took some frozen chicken. There was 2 huge breasts frozen. They're about like this long and that thick. And I put it in the Ninja, pressure cooked it. So it took about 20 minutes or so for the pressure to come up, and then cooked it for 20 minutes. So it wasn't completely done. So I took it out, put it on sear saute, cooked the chicken the rest of the way. Then with the chicken, I added some corn and sauteed that also. Then with the rest of the chicken, I put some to the side. This is the chicken that's put to the side. So that's one meal. This is another meal. And then I made some soup. And then this is a soup. I have carrots, peas, and corn. I used my almond milk for the base instead of water. And then added a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder. I like half a teaspoon of chives and a teaspoon of oregano. And then cook that with it on the sear saute also on low. Brought it back up to medium low, or medium high. Let that come to a boil for a little bit. Put it back down to low to let it just simmer while we were talking and everything. And then we had the soup. So basically, those 2 things made me like be 3 or 4 meals now. So now if I could get to my pressure canner, which is downstairs, and I don't like going downstairs. the soup, I could sit there and can the soup and get probably like 2 or 3 pints of soup, and then have that for when it's really cold and I don't feel like cooking. Just open up a can of soup and heat it up.
Mhm.
So that's what I do. Yeah.
I went
Sometimes
looking. I
Go
went
ahead.
looking for the manila folder that I have the other ones in. I couldn't find it, so I must have put it somewhere where I couldn't find it. But I already have one of these made. These are
Okay.
going to Ashley's mother and sister-in-law for Christmas.
CNC.
CNC, yes.
Yeah, shredded chicken. One's a shredded chicken. You can shred the whole chicken up, or you can take, just leave it. But I did cut it up into nice chunks and everything with the chicken. And it's like, hey, they have rice for the next couple of days, so I needed something for the next couple of days. So I was like, well, now let's just see how it works. And that's what we did. So, Des, what did you make? No, she didn't make anything yet. But we're going to do that one day.
I'm definitely going to go and do a stir fry though. I'm gonna check with my veggies. I've got a bunch of frozen vegetables that need to be cooked. So I'm gonna check what I have in there. See if I have the whatchamacallit in the freezer. I think I have a jar of teriyaki sauce in my fridge, but I want to get I want to go to the Chinese market and get the Chinese snow peas, and I want to see if I have the sugar snap peas. That's the other peas I like.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have extra broccoli in there, so maybe I'll do that if I can somehow sit. I know I have a tripod, so I'll see if I can sit on my walker if I can get close enough to the counter and cook with the Instant Pot, like stand and try to use that to hold me in place and then sit down. So because there's no room, like I can roll back, I hit the refrigerator or the counter behind me and try to scoot up and hit the other counter. So that's about the much room that I have in my walker goes in. I can push it out, and that's my kitchen. So we'll see how I do, or I'll see about putting it over here at my coffee bar and have the kids give me the stuff that I need and work off of the coffee bar here, which gives me a little bit more room. So
there you go.
We'll see how it goes because this is like counter height too. And I got a plug right there.
Cool.
Yeah, I use that for my rice cooker. So I'll cook the rice over here and stuff like that as well. So
Oh, definitely.
That sounds good.
yeah.
Kim, I'm going to do a mail call video with your recipes that you sent me.
Oh, okay. Hey, I thought of something. You were talking about you missed steak. And this is something that I learned years ago from a young man that he had come from another state, and he and my husband and another mutual friend of theirs had all gone goose hunting. They came to our house to clean the geese, and this guy was just taking the breast. And my husband said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Where's your wife?" So Dave opened the back door and he hollered at me, and I stepped out there, and the guy said, "I'm going to teach you how to cook goose breast. It will not have a wild taste. It's better than beef, and it tastes like a beef steak." I was like, "You gotta be kidding me." He said, "No, ma'am. You take the breast off of the goose, just like you would remove a chicken breast. Take it, instead of just butterflying it, you cut all the way through it. You can tenderize it a little bit thin, or you can wait. This is basically a 2-day process, but it works, and I highly recommend it. You put the breast first off in some water, just enough to cover it, with some vinegar. This starts pulling that blood out.
Mm-hmm.
Then you only soak that like that for an hour and a half maximum. Then you drain that all off. Use paper towel to kind of dry it out. Then soak it in milk. the milk is not going to be absorbed. The milk and the fats in it is actually going to draw more of that blood out. And you just keep alternating milk and ice water for a day. When you get ready to soak it overnight, you put it in the water with a little bit of salt, because your vinegar is going to provide some of a saltiness to it. Stick it in the refrigerator overnight. When you get that out and are ready to cook it, you can tenderize it down with a meat mallet very gently, just like you would a cube steak. Dredge it in flour, and then dip it in egg, and then dredge it in that seasoned flour again. Fry it just like you would a beef steak, and it is absolutely delicious. I fixed it for a friend who absolutely hated goose, duck. If it was bird, she wasn't touching it because she didn't like it. I said, I've got something I want you to try. She says, okay. And so I gave it to her, and she said, that is the best steak I have ever eaten. Where did you get it? I said, Dave went hunting. And she said, he hunted a beef. I said, no. She said, what is this? She said, don't you dare tell me it's deer. I said, nah, it's not deer. She said, what is it? I said, that, sweetheart, is a Canadian goose.
Oh,
She
wow.
said, you've got to be kidding me. And I said, nope, that's a goose. She went home and she told her husband about it. He went goose hunting that weekend. And of course, there are limits.
Right.
And he and her dad got their limit, and they brought it over to our house, and I walked her through the process. They now eat goose on every goose season, but it works. And you can do duck breast the same way. The duck breast is just smaller, unless you buy a domestic duck. I mean, I know there are stores that you can buy the duck breast that is already cut off. Duck breast has a lot of fat in it. So the only duck breast I've ever cooked was wild, and I just did it the same as I did the goose breast. And it worked out beautifully.
Awesome.
So
with the alpha gall, which is from a tick bite, you can't have cow, pig, deer, anything with hooves, not even rabbit. But I can have any kind of bird, chicken, duck, goose, any fowl, fish, and turkey. And I'm just like, I'm not a fish eater. I really don't like fish, and I haven't for a long time. So I eat a lot of turkey and chicken. But I would like to try a duck.
Yeah, it really is good.
I tried to think it was duck or goose for Christmas one year because my cousin, she threw a big party when she was still with her ex-husband, and they rented a tent. And so the whole family got together, like her dad, her in-laws, us, we all, her mom's side of the family, we all got together, and there was at least 50 of us in the tent. And
my.
Yeah, we had, I think it was either goose or duck, and then we had a turkey as well. I said, please make sure there's a turkey, because I tried some of the goose there, and I didn't like it. It was too fatty, too greasy or something. I just couldn't eat it, and I was thankful for the turkey. I was like, please let there be turkey at this event, too. I don't know what it is. I tried deer from 2 different people. I didn't like it. It just was not my thing. Plus, I can't see Bambi. It's just, yeah.
See, my husband hunted, and for years he did, until the PTSD got so bad that he just couldn't do it anymore. But he always got his deer. For a lot of years, Missouri only allowed 1 tag. Well, then all of a sudden they started allowing multiple tags. He always filled them. I learned how to process them. It starts with, they're going to be field dressed out in a field, but the minute that thing came home, or they did, that hide came off. We never hung a deer. No way. That's just asking for trouble. We'd get it cleaned while it was still hanging up. We took the water hose to it and washed it thoroughly to get as much of that hair off of it as we could. Then he would quarter it. We took it in, and I know it sounds like work. It is, but it is so worth it. We'd quarter it, take it into the bathroom, and it went in the bathtub. And I soaked it in ice water that had salt and vinegar in it. And just as I was washing it, I was taking my hands and pushing on that meat to force that blood out. We would do that a half a dozen times and kept changing that water. And yeah, I had a lot of cleanup in the bathtub, but I didn't care. It was meat for my family.
Yeah.
And then when we got as much of that done as we could, we went and bought one of those 30-gallon galvanized trash containers specifically for deer. It wasn't used for anything else. We put the deer down in it, ran the cold water, dumped, there was probably a cup of salt in it and maybe a quart of vinegar, packed ice on top of it, put the lid on, stacked quilts on it, and bungee corded them down, and it sat overnight. The next day, I got up, checked it. If it was still kind of bloody, I dump that water off of it and start over. I've soaked it for as long as 3 days like that. Then in processing it, I got rid of the bones. I took every bit of it off of the bones. The bones and the fat will give it that strong, gamey taste, and it's not good.
That's why I didn't like it.
But my mother couldn't stand deer. She couldn't handle the smell of it cooking or anything.
Yeah, I have no sense
I
of smell.
fixed it.
It's the taste.
Yeah, I fixed it one night after we had worked it
Done
up
all
like
that,
that.
yeah.
And she and my dad were at our house for supper. And she said, "That is really good steaks. Where'd you find it?" I said, "Dave shot it." She said, "He shot a cow." No, Mom, this is deer. She said, "It is not." I said, "Yes, it is." And she said, "I can't believe it. How did you do this?" I said, "Do you remember when Dad called and gave me all those instructions from that guy that he worked with?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "That's what we did." And I said, "And this deer has been soaking in buttermilk today." That finishes the process. It was so tender we could cut it with a fork. I had my deer burger. The stuff that came off of the ribs and some of the smaller pieces that I just didn't want to mess with. I put it in a pot. I cooked it down just a little bit, and then I packed it in jars and canned it. It worked beautifully to make any kind of stew out of, and I never added any salt to it. I waited until I was fixing whatever dish I was going to cook. That processing makes a tremendous amount of difference.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't process like that was the bison. And
Never had bison.
bison's good. Oh, Dez, it's absolutely wonderful.
I think Costco has it where they charge so much.
Yeah, they are expensive.
Yeah.
But there's a bison has no cholesterol and no fat. So a cardiologist they will tell people, you're limited on chicken, turkey, and fish. You can have all the bison meat that you want because there's no cholesterol and no fat. There are no known allergies to bison. Bison has 40% more iron than beef and 50% more protein than beef. And it's just plain good for you. Check your Walmart store. See if they have bison burger. Yes. Now here in Kansas City, it's $8.95 a pound, but it's only 3% fat because they
it's
have
already.
to add,
It's like in the hamburger section. Like the package or
and it will be over where the beef is. And sometimes they will have it on a shelf where there's like ground lamb, and then they'll have like the frozen or the rolls of the ground beef down below it. But check that for the bison.
Okay.
It's absolutely delicious.
I'll check it out.
Awesome.
And
Cook it the same way you would cook a burger.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can make burgers out of it.
Okay.
You just have to add a little bit of fat to your pan. Definitely cook it in a nonstick skillet with a little bit of, I would say, olive oil
That I
or a
have.
little bit of butter.
I have a big can.
Don't ever cook it well done. You will ruin it. You always want that bison just a little pink in the middle because it is such a dense protein. Once you remove it from that heat, it's going to retain that heat and it will finish cooking. Otherwise, you will ruin it. The only seasoning it does not take well is tarragon. Bison loves onion, garlic, oregano, sage. Any seasonings that you would use with beef, it'll work. And it's absolutely delicious. I highly recommend it. Unfortunately, Nancy, I don't know how to replace bison with anything.
That's all right. Me either.
Yes, my big bull.
Yep.
My big bull was 6 feet tall at the top of his hump. He weighed 2,600 pounds.
Wow.
His horns from tip to tip was 27.5 inches. His head from the base that the horns grew out of to the end of his nose was almost 30 inches. His nose and mouth just did fit in a 5-gallon bucket. So we couldn't bucket water him. It had to be a trough or the pond. He left a 10-inch hoof print. And he was the biggest baby I have ever met in my life. He would lay down in the pen against the fence. Rachel, my youngest daughter, was 4 years old at the time, and she would go out, lean back against the fence on her side, against the bull, and sit there and scratch his ears and tell him stories. And he loved it.
That's funny.
Awesome.
And he threw some of the most gorgeous calves. He was wonderful. And the day I had to put him through a sale ring, I would have rather put my husband through that ring. Except I'd have had to have paid somebody to shave off my hands, and I got a couple grand out of the bull. So it worked out better.
There you go. Well, I've been on for 3 hours and 42 minutes.
Yes.
Well, look at those watch hours you just got, girl.
I know. That definitely helps. But they're going to want to come down and start supper and everything. So it's
That's
like,
what happens when you hang with me. Forget 2 hour, 3 hour lives.
I know. We'll do it again, definitely. I know next weekend is your birthday live. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to go live next Sunday. Well, I'll hop in there.
If you do, I'll just have me over here and you over here.
Yeah. Right, good. But I want to pray before we leave. So, Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the health and safety, provision, protection, and the love you give us. Thank you for us having a wonderful time together, that wherever we go, that you are there with us, and that you shine your face upon us today and bless us with all the spiritual blessings and blessings that you bring down from heaven to earth. And thank you for everybody that came, everybody will be watching later, and we thank you for the panel. Just bless their hands and all that they do. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Y'all have a wonderful day.
I'm going
This
to
has
open
been
this and
wonderful.
make some beans.
Oh, my.
I'm going to make some beans. This thing is
Cool.
sealed good, but I'm going to crack it open and soak some beans. I don't know why my
There you
sister
go.
put pinto and white beans together, but she did.
Oh, they're delicious, Rebecca. They're delicious fixed that
I
way.
always just did white beans, but she put some pinto beans in here and some white beans.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I usually do them about half and half. So it works out. And my phone is telling me that it's about to die. So I had better
go
go.
plug in.
This has been wonderful, ladies. I have
It's been fun.
loved it.
Indeed.
See you all later. Have a blessed
For
day.
sure.
Bye-bye.
All right, Kim, take care. Bye, Nancy.
Later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
think it's the end.
You haven't stopped it yet.
There we go.
There it goes.
No, dude. There we go. Still.
Oh,